Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? So the Todds are running just a little bit late. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and go live now. And we'll just start here. I'll answer some questions or whatever. And then we'll have the rest of them roll on in just a few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes, they told me. So yeah, it should be pretty soon here. Give me just a moment. Hello in the video. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is it will be sort of an interview, kind of just a chat hangout, and then we'll also do some match predictions, sort of like the Brad Grundy show. So if you enjoyed that, you'll enjoy this. Uh yeah, it'll just be a few minutes until I get here. Also, actually, funny story. So my buddy, me and him have been talking about Mike and Hermes, and he's always making fun of me about how Mike will win. And just a few days before this, he had a dream about how Mike will win. And another guy I was gonna bet with, he had a dream that Mike will win. So he got cold feet, didn't want to bet anymore. And then just the other day or earlier, like maybe 2 days ago, on Reddit, I saw another guy who had a dream where Mike won. So I don't know if that's some god shit, but I am thinking there's now three people who have had a dream who all believed that Hermes would beat Mike, but then had a dream where Mike won. Oh, hello. We got Lars in here. Hey, Lars, do you want to join? I'll invite you if you're free right now. If you want to hang out with us. What's up, Alex? How you doing? I was overestimating how many people would fill into the chat quickly. I gotta figure out how to get the stream ready so that way like everyone can set the notifications and stuff because the way I do it, I literally just turn it on and then I go change a bunch of stuff. I gotta figure out how to make it all nice. I'm not a very good streamer. See, Alex, you can't take your dream back. That already happened, man. You already figured out that Mike will win in the dream. Tried to protect you from looking like a fool, unfortunately. It's too late though. Your dream already made you smart, and now there's no point in fighting that, right? Oh no, I will that's the first thing I'm gonna tell him. The moment he shows up, I'm gonna tell Mike that. Okay, Lars, I'll send you the invite link and then you just pop in whenever you want. That'll be a great surprise to the viewers when they tune in. They just think there'll be an extra guy there. Let me see. How do I message you? We'll go on Instagram. It's a good little surprise for the viewers. We got Lars in here. That's great. Watching at 2 a.m. in Latvia. Thank you very much. I didn't know I had very many Latvian fans. Thought there was only Coach Ray. I don't know if Coach Ray is my fan necessarily though. There you are. Okay, Lars, I sent you the invite link. Just hop on whenever you're ready. Yes, rest in peace, Alex. Also, okay, you guys know the translator, Alex Bakuradze. You think this guy could beat me? No chance, right? I would destroy that guy, right? Also, I probably won't be able to read chat as much because I'm gonna guess the chat's gonna be a little bit quicker moving once they come on. So like I'll probably do the super chats and I'll see what I can do. Thank you, A Stark. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, translator guy would get absolutely slammed by reaction guy. No chance for him. No, he's very strong. He would beat me. I'll be honest with the viewers, he's very strong. I cannot stop. He's Georgian. If he was American and I was Georgian, it would be very bad. I mean, very bad. Actually, this is an interesting question. So he said he thinks he could beat Levon with two arms. People in chat, do you think you can personally beat Levon with two arms? Because he was saying he could, and I was like two arms is very difficult. Like I could beat people who are much stronger than me if I use two arms. But I don't even think like if you guys know Mika Sakralidze, he's at my club. I don't know if I can beat Mika with two arms. And the gap between me and Mika, I know is smaller than the gap between him and Levon. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, A Stark. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if you're doing two arms, there's this type of two arms, which is much harder. But then you could also do this where you have one hand pulling open their pronation, and then the other one, like, I think that type of two arms is a little different. Hello. All right, I can hear you guys.
There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear
Can you
you.
hear us?
Yes, I can. Lovely.
There you go.
Also, Lars was in the chat, and I said, "Hey, Lars, you want to show up?" And he was like, "Give me 10 minutes, I'll be here too." So Lars is going to join us.
Oh,
Awesome.
love Lars.
All right. Yeah. So actually, I was just talking to the chat. So like, I'll actually ask you this as well, Michael Todd, since you have some experience with this. How hard is it to beat Levon using two arms? Like, could a pretty strong guy beat Levon using two arms?
Define strong.
Like, okay, so
Are they an arm wrestler?
like my buddy Alex Bakaradze, he is, I think, 90 kilo, decently lean. Like he's like a strong guy, arm wrestler, but not like super focused, not like a super elite level guy, but he's like decently strong, 90 kilo guy.
On ready go, he wouldn't be able to. I don't think.
But maybe in a slow pull.
Maybe. Now there's a lot of variables. If you're pulling two hands and then you re-grip and re-cup this way, then it makes it really difficult. But if you kept his hand here, Levon might be too much for him, even in a slow pull.
Because
But that
I was thinking
re-grip
like
thing,
also
you do this and switch around, it changes shit. Oh, but
yeah,
that way,
like this is much harder. But this, when you have one controlling their pronator trying to turn them open, that
yeah.
like this I can't even beat Mika if I'm doing it like this. Like Mika Sakralidze, he's at my club. I don't think I could beat Mika if I use two arms. Well, I
Listen,
probably could,
this
maybe.
whole thing you just showed me looks like the easier route.
You
Levon
think
would
this
crush
is
both.
easier?
Yes.
Really? I think the other way. No.
Okay, so well, that's your opinion. My opinion is you're shutting down the outside move if you have this hand here. If you're gripping me underneath, all your wrist is still vulnerable. I'm still vulnerable.
Okay, to be clear, we're talking for the two arm guy. For the two arm guy, he is stronger like this than
Yes.
like this. Okay,
Oh,
we
100%.
agree.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, definitely.
I was saying
Yeah.
harder for me. You were saying harder for the other guy. Okay, yeah, we
Yes,
agree. We
yes.
agree. Yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
because like this, you turn their pronator, so it's
Oh,
so
of
much
course.
harder to keep. Okay,
Yeah.
we agree.
And then you get the people who they can't pin you and then they re-grab this way. And you're like, dude, there's nothing I can possibly do with you turn. You've got my palm turned up and shut down my pronation, and you're basically bear hugging my arm,
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so I will now get into the question. So first thing is this chat or this one will be a little different. I'm not going to read the chat as much. If you send in a super chat, I'll make sure to read. But if I'm not going to be as answering the chat, so just want to make that clear. All right. First question. Rebecca even sent me some questions. She sent me some great ones, so we're going to be using a few of those.
Those are stems.
She gave me some ideas and I stole them because they're good. All right. So what's it like being compared to the Larretts so frequently? Like, do you guys actually think you guys are at all similar to them? Because there's a lot of Todd family and Larrett family. That's part of why I think we get Rebecca versus Jody. How's that like?
So I think that probably the only way that we're similar is they're, champions in arm wrestling. North American champions in arm wrestling.
I would say there's similarities in the fact that obviously you support me, she supports him, the family does it, Ron was involved, Brittany's even arm wrestle. I mean, people. So much of our life is with our significant other.
Yeah.
Also, right? So a lot of people who are elite, world class arm wrestlers, whatever, maybe we don't know their spouse because their spouse they don't have as big as active social media or whatever. And I'm pretty much with Rebecca all the time. So if you meet Michael Todd, you meet Rebecca.
For you guys out there, if you've had a conversation with Michael Todd, I've probably been privy to it, all of it. So I know when
Yeah.
you're fibbing.
She literally,
Okay.
it's funny. She will catch people in some shit all the time. She's like, dude, I was there. I heard them.
I was right there.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good, babe. No big deal. But
But
similarities would be, I think, just a family that loves each other, a family that's supportive, a family that does open up their lives to social media.
which is rough.
Differences,
We have very different paths.
yeah, like how we got here, just how our
They've been together, I think, since
high school or something.
Since
Yeah,
high school, yeah. I think they're high
yeah,
school sweethearts, which
Yeah.
is crazy that like I mean, if you think of the trajectory and path of their life, how like they started literally from when they lived with their parents to now is like
Crazy.
the thought of me like I'm 19. The thought of me meeting someone now and I'm gonna be with them when I'm 50 is crazy to me. Like
Well,
I know
and
that's
you
just how it
know,
works, but just I don't know.
there's very little chance that either of them are exactly who they were when they met. So
Yeah.
they've had to go through this whole growing and changing thing. I mean, we've been together since 2011 and we've grown and changed. So
Hmm.
just making those adjustments, but so much of their lives have been apart,
right, right. I mean,
because
that's
of
a big
his,
difference too. How we're different. Because of his career, so much of their life was separated for such a long period of time. Rebecca and I have, with the exception of she worked for a year, so she went back to working as a nurse for a year.
the year COVID
Ended up
hit.
being a graveyard shift, so she
It
was
was
13
terrible.
and during COVID, so I couldn't go pick her up at lunch and see her or whatever because uh, outside of those 13-hour shifts, 3 days a week, we've never been apart more than 9 hours
Really?
ever.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you neither of you have ever taken a trip without the other person?
no, never stayed the night apart. Like we just
No.
That's crazy. That
That's
that
my
is
best friend.
some
So we had the opportunity to meet, like at my first wrist wrestling tournament, arm wrestling event, whatever, was 1990 Saline County Fair. She was actually at a cheerleading competition at the same fair. It's a tiny little town. We just didn't meet. We grew
yeah.
up in her,
He wouldn't have noticed. He was
she,
into blondes.
whatever. So, like summers, she spent her time with her cousin who lived down the road, and my cousin owned the property across the street. There's no way that we didn't cross paths, just didn't know each other, right? Like I
At
went in the
some
convenience
point you
store.
two were in the same room. Like
Or within a
over
few minutes, like within 30 minutes of each other, I went to the convenience store and then she went to the same convenience store, something like that.
yeah,
It just
yeah.
took us until we were 38 years old to meet. But yeah, but since we've been together, I found that I thought you could only have that like giddy love stuff when you were a kid, like that first time love. And then I found that with her. I'm like, shit, I never do not want that. So for me, it's just, I want my best friend with me all the time.
Yeah.
So all of that aside, I often wonder too, and Jody and I have had some conversations. Some of them have been in depth, but like I just wonder what it is like in their home, the dynamic. Like I wonder, do they go through the same shit we go through?
Oh, man, yeah.
Like I wonder, does Jody just blindly support all the decisions
Yeah, I doubt that.
that Devin
Listen, I don't
makes?
get that here. I promise you. I do not get that
Like,
at
does
all.
she just blindly support? Is she, because she's very much like him in the way that she's also very competitive. We don't have that here. I'm just right. I'm
Yeah.
not competitive. I'm just right. So, you know,
Well,
I'm
you know what's funny?
wondering.
Like I told my mom about doing this exact show, and I was thinking about calling it couples therapy with Henry Naring, and I was gonna get as many arm wrestlers and their wives on as possible. But I was thinking, I was like, shit. So I get you two, I get Devin and Jody, and then where do I go from
Series is
there?
over.
Like
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
just
Like,
like
series over.
like the amount of interestingness it would just drop off a cliff once I got once I do you two, I do Jody, and then it's like God, that's kind of it. So yeah, I thought that would be a funny concept for a show, but it just doesn't have enough legs to it. Yeah. Now, okay. One thing I was gonna ask is like, what's like a typical day in the life? Like, what do you do? I know I'm pretty sure neither of you have day jobs. I don't know. Like, what's like tomorrow morning? What's the plan?
Well, we actually have guests coming in tonight.
Well, let's say a typical
But I'm gonna
day.
give you a, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you a normal day. Normal day. Now, this has become a bad habit of ours. We just wake up whenever we wake up. Like we used to like wake up.
Not cool.
We used to wake up at like 7 or like we had a time that we would just get up and be, ready for the day. That's not how it is. I have gotten us addicted to television shows. We will stay up till late in the evening watching, and then we'll sleep till
And
we're
I'm angry about it.
pissed. Because right now, the winter, the days are so short, so you lose so much daylight sleeping till
Dude,
9,
I feel that
right?
so hard because I'm a bit of a degenerate sometimes. I'll wake up at 11 a.m. or something.
Okay,
I
so
go
we're
for
not
a
that
walk.
bad.
That's just what I'm willing to admit on camera. I was super
Right.
sick before. I woke up at like 2 p.m. one day and I was just like, what is happening to me? I couldn't believe it. But
So
It's crazy because since the time changed, we used to wake up 7-ish, and since the time changed, it's now 9 o'clock. And then by the time we look through all our socials, through our emails, all of that stuff, our dogs are like, hey, listen, I really got to pee. Can you take me
So
outside?
okay, that's how the day starts. So we get up, we take a little thermogenic. I end up having to sit in the massage chair because my back is so jacked from the night sleep, right? So I have to sit in the massage chair before I do anything. So that's 15 minutes. And then we get up, we a new dog Chance, who we haven't completely integrated yet. So I take him for a walk. While I'm taking him for a walk, Rebecca comes down, takes the other 3 dogs out. Get all their foods ready. She'll make coffee. I'll come in here, I'll feed Misha, turn the gym lights on, and then either she's doing a morning circuit or we're doing cardio together. So upstairs we have a big theater room above us with personal use cardio, so it's only accessible from the house. So sometimes we'll just go up there and do cardio, or I'm up there doing cardio and she's doing a circuit, or maybe both times we're doing a circuit or something. So that's our morning start. Then we have our first meal.
Can we do the Cliff Notes here?
Well, set a day in life. That's how it's gonna go, and then I'm gonna.
It's a lot of that throughout the day. It's him eating, and I try to get into the gym at least a couple of times, and then usually I'm doing one of the other many things. Either I'm editing videos.
Well, she's back in school now, so she's
started back to school this week, so that really jacks things up for us. Or taking care of the dogs, where he is full on from the time he wakes up and actually starts moving. The rest of his day is all about preparation.
Yeah.
After
is there ever a rest day, or you're pretty much on every single day?
So I've incorporated one. She goes, you have to have at least one day. So it used to be even like the one day wasn't a one day. Like it was like I'm still doing hand and wrist, or I'm still doing this. And she's like, listen, you got to at least take one day. So now I'm starting to take one day. But I forgot to mention after cardio, we do 20 minutes in a sauna. I go do 5 to 7 minutes in the cold plunge. Then I do a session in the hot tub. And then we have, breakfast and stuff. Then throughout the day, like she said, she's doing her stuff. I'm going to be back in the gym for 1 or more sessions. And then at night, recently, thankfully, we'll be able to just go get out in the hot tub for an evening session before we, take sleeping stuff and melatonin and Benadryl to go to sleep, and start the shit all over again. I mean, it's pretty simple. We're pretty much introverted. We don't do a whole lot.
So you guys are basically living like Hermes Gasparini, like blinders are on, no.
Well, it's been that way the whole
time.
The whole comeback's been that way. Okay, first it's Pablo, then it's Frank, then it's Camille, then it's Lars, and it's Camille, and then it's Gennady, and then it's just, and that's what I was telling her. Like, I'm blessed and thankful to be on this journey, but it does require a lot. You know what I mean? It requires.
But that's why you're getting the results you're getting, because if you sacrifice this much, you get this much back. So, and that's what you've been doing. You've been sacrificing a lot, so you're seeing extraordinary results. I mean, to come back, like, people need to go watch a Michael Todd video 1.5 years ago. He's literally walking around in a sling like, oh, I want to train. Like people need to put into perspective how crazy it is that you've made it this far. Now, whether you think Hermes is going to kill you, whatever, oh my God, he has no chance against Levon. He literally in a sling 1.5 years ago. The fact that we're in the conversation for you and Levon has shown how incredible the comeback has been. So I think if you're not looking at this like a little bit holy shit, you got to put it into perspective. It's hard. It's easy to forget when you're a viewer, because when you had your bicep torn, no one was paying close attention. But if you go back and you look at where you were, like, it's already been pretty ridiculous that you've made it here. And the fact that we're talking about you and Hermes, and before and after that you and Levon, is pretty crazy that a sensible person could believe that will happen.
So when this comeback started, I actually made a one video, the very first video about the comeback, and I titled it "The Best Comeback in Arm Wrestling History Starts Now." We took so much shit for that. I remember Auden Larrett was on somewhere joking about it, like, and now they're like, wow,
pretty damn good comeback.
Yeah. People saying, oh, Michael Todd version 8 or whatever,
Right. So the thing is, if some unimaginable thing happened, let's say we hit it big, the lottery tomorrow, and I convinced this man.
We play the lottery 7 days a week, just so you know.
Really? Okay.
I somehow convinced this man that no, God's path is different for you, honey. We're gonna go, we're gonna go on the road or something. And he just pulled away. Where he has gotten to this point has been ridiculous. I didn't see it. I didn't imagine it
If I'm
happening.
being honest, I was a naysayer at the start, absolutely. And I think it was around Frank where that kind of turned around for me, where I was like, "Oh, this is pretty fucking serious." I'm like when I could see it wasn't just about the match result, but I could see how focused you seemed and how like almost your personality is what surprised me. It wasn't actually your shift in your physical shape or your results on the table. Your personality shift was so much more inducive to success. It was I don't get, I don't care about taking any credit for anything. I don't get emotional. I don't scream at the referee. I mean, a little bit screaming at the referee, but every now and again they're wrong and you have to. But
You have to. You
but
have
like,
to make a case for yourself because, and
yeah,
this is what people at home don't understand. They're like, well, why is Michael always, crying at the referee? He's not crying at the referee. He is advocating for himself. And what they don't realize is like the Kazakhstan athletes or other athletes usually have a coach there that do that on their behalf.
hmm
So now he does. When Paul Lynn's available,
When Paul in my
he's
corner,
the
I'm like,
guy.
Paul, if anything
yeah,
comes up, you gotta go take care of that shit
You go
because
take
I
care
don't
of
have
that.
to spend all my energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Paul's a phenomenal cornerman, by the way.
The
But
best.
yeah, I mean, I feel blessed and thankful to have done what I've done so far, and I believe if the journey stopped here, it's still remarkable. It's still, I mean, it still had to be something greater than me to accomplish how quickly a person could do what I've done with the right amount of effort, belief, and all that stuff. But the time frame that it's happened in my opinion,
ridiculous.
has to make it more divine.
Well,
Because
all the things
I
that
haven't
fell in place
so many things like
to make it
the
happen.
people who came
From the
from
surgeon
the
to the
surgeon, from the stem cells,
recovery,
from the mini circle, from
hyperbaric
elevate
chamber.
hell hyperbaric chamber,
It's
from
been crazy.
QC kinetics and getting the what was that shot I had? A2M, alpha 2 macroglobulin. It literally takes out the arthritic enzymes and replaces them with healthy healing enzymes. So I had all that. The things that happened to this arm in that time for people who came to me that wasn't me reaching out to them, that just blessings that I got. I mean, it's been amazing so far.
And the fans that showed up.
I personally don't think it's
Here.
over. I think that, I think in, 4.5 weeks, we do the same thing again. I just feel that I don't, and like I said in the live the other night, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be a victory. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I mean, the other day, and like, listen, you guys know the delusional Ryan Bowen. I'm worried the delusional Henry Naring will come out because, like, I was literally thinking the other night. I don't even know what context was in. I don't know, but literally, I was just thinking. I was like, I could see a world where it's like they say go, and it's the center of the table, and you don't even go to the losing side. Like, I was like, and I'm realizing I'm drinking maybe a little too much Kool-Aid that you're just gonna trample him. But at the same time, I was like. Yeah, I mean, you were this close to flash pinning Gennady out of the straps. People need to watch that back. That was not a slip in the second round. You were this close to flash pinning him out of the straps. I was like,
If he just would have had the belief, if Michael would have believed he could do it, then.
oh, we got Lars here. There we go.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hello, Lars.
What's up, brother?
Hey.
How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing fine. And you?
Good, good.
I
You
just
feeling
come
good?
down from the mountains. Yeah, I've been with my dogs in the mountains tonight. So first I did legs in the gym and then straight to the mountains.
You're a crazy man. You're a crazy man. See, this guy here is my inspiration. Like we talked about after this whole journey and Levon and all that, I'm gonna have to have Lars as my fitness coach to get me in shape.
Yeah.
Got to return back to the ridiculously fit
Ma-
version.
Michael is my arm wrestling coach and I'm his fitness coach. That will be a good deal.
Yeah, he teaches you how to get bloated up to be as good an arm wrestler as possible, and then you teach him how to get lean and climb the mountains. So somewhere in between, you could even out and you climb
Yeah.
mountains and arm wrestle ideally. So
That's it.
actually,
Yeah.
this actually perfectly plays into one of my questions. So, you were like 318 pounds the other day in one of your videos. Like like were you like did you eat rocks or something? What happened?
No, so here's the deal. This is completely transparent. I have to quit chasing weight. I can gain weight so easily but the self-esteem that comes, the suffering the self-esteem that I feel, that how bad it makes me feel,
Confidence issue.
is horrible. Like,
Uh-huh.
people, oh, you need to be 330. Listen, bro, I could be 350, 360 by Hermes if I want. It's just you got to roll me in a wheelchair because I'm not gonna be able to do shit. Like, it's horrible. Like, and I didn't even eat. But so basically, we took off the last 2 weeks of the year, and we didn't even binge. We just ate when we were hungry, and we ate what we wanted.
Uh-huh.
I woke up. I mean, I went to bed that night. We went to what was it? Texas Roadhouse. I was 318 pounds. I woke up the next morning. Now that was without, that was dressed the next morning without clothes. I was 310.4. And I was like, I just don't feel good at this weight.
Yeah.
So this morning I'm 299.4, right? So I just weighed a few minutes ago, sweats, t-shirt,
but you're stronger, so it doesn't matter.
308. Yeah, I mean, so I'm still going up in weights every week, right? I'm still doing heavier. See, I do more than just the arm wrestling lifts. Like my back circuit that I'll be doing this Sunday or Monday will be equivalent to the heaviest back circuit I've ever done in my life. And then I still have another week to go.
So is that the one you did with Dave?
The one I did with Dave and the one I
Okay.
did with Jerry. And the one I did going into Gennady, I did the same thing again.
Okay.
So I'm still training real heavy. It's just, so the point was, I don't have the confidence. My 318 to some people might think, oh, you're huge, and I'm like, I'm a fat ass. I'm just not that good, you know what I mean? So I will still probably be, a strip morning weight between 295 and 300, which means evening weight dressed like this 308, something like that. So I'm not a small guy. And I told somebody, I was like, once we get done with this match with Hermes, come back home a month of just kind of like light work, enjoy myself, have a good time. I may try to do a clean bulk for Levon, but honestly, I don't think I have to be a certain weight for Levon. I just think I have to be a certain strength for Levon.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not putting on strength, then you got to consider getting bigger. But if you just keep getting stronger, what's the point of getting fatter as well?
I mean, fatter is the problem. If there was a way that I could just magically put on a bunch of lean muscle, which I've never been able to do as a bigger guy, like my body changes just from nutrition. That's the only thing that changes my body is nutrition.
I want to address this. Someone was saying, notice how every time Michael hit Gennady, Gennady caught it pretty confidently. I want to talk just really quickly about that. What a lot of people don't realize is when Michael hits, it was amazing that he got Gennady that close to the pad because he wasn't even trying to go sideways. When his plan when he went into that match was not to hit to pin, but to hit to position. So Gennady wasn't catching him. That was literally where Michael was stopping.
That's all I was just trying to do this. I didn't realize that when I do this on my pronation gauge back pressure, I turn this way a little bit. So I was knocking a third of the way over with only going backwards. I wasn't trying to go sideways. And the only reason I went sideways in round 2 after they called me for the false start on press, they went to the referee's grip and I felt him close down on my hand. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold on to him. So that's when I just hit him hard outside. And I went back and stealed it. And I was literally this close to a flash pin. Outside I was like, oh my God, if I would have known that in the time, I would have just, once they strapped us up, I'd have just had confidence and committed, just hit sideways.
And if you engage just a little bit of elbow there, you would have pinned them that round.
I mean, imagine if I just put my elbow from like right center to left rear. You know what I'm saying? Like if I just moved it, there's an 8-inch pad. If I just moved it 4 inches over and applied side pressure, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, hindsight's 20/20. But it was funny that I was hitting for a position with just back pressure, but yet I was knocking him out of center every time.
Yeah, I mean,
the biggest thing was that you didn't know how strong you were. You didn't know it.
I was unaware because I didn't have any table time. I mean, I had the table time with Lars when he was here, but I never was hitting. I was just like applying that pronation gauge back pressure. I'd let him set in and I'd just drag out of it, right? I didn't know that I had as much side pressure as I had, And now I'm doing side pressure training. And like I said, you probably saw this. I beat Todd Hutchins. It's nothing. I mean, Todd Hutchins is amazing. He might do more than me. But currently he had done a 117.5 pronated side pressure with the belt. We have to squeeze the belt. I did 118 like a week or two ago, right? So that's technically a half pound more than he's successfully done. Which, if we think about how much side pressure Todd Hutchins has, the fact that I'm even in the ballpark is amazing. You know what I mean?
I think even the other way around, the fact that Todd Hutchins is in the ballpark of any super heavyweight is pretty impressive as well.
Oh, that's the thing. But that's what makes me think about
He's lethal.
Tell me anyone who thinks they have more side pressure than Todd Hutchins, even a super heavyweight.
Oh, I mean, Gennady has more side pressure than Todd Hutchins.
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean, if we really want to play the game, Levon has more side pressure than Todd
That's
Hutchings. I mean,
exactly. There you go.
Okay,
That's who it is.
Levon is the outlier
Yeah, we
everywhere.
can't
I
count
mean, if you asked
any
me to name
conversation.
a super heavyweight, then yeah, Levon
I
has more
thought about
side
that as soon as I
pressure.
said it. I was like, I started saying with the
Gonna,
exception of Levon, but then you jumped at Gennady. Who knows? Maybe Gennady does. I don't know. It's just
I
that's
mean,
the only
okay,
thing I
are we of the idea if Gennady and Todd Hutchings got tied together, you mean to tell me Todd Hutchings would win center?
if they both grabbed a side pressure hand thing the way that Todd does it, who could do more? That's the only
Now,
thing I'm.
in that exercise, maybe Todd Hutchings
That's
is
what I'm saying. I don't
is the
know,
guy.
but
But
we know
on
how
the
strong his side
table,
pressure is. We
like
know how
on the
strong his side
table,
pressure is.
he
Yeah,
would flash pin him. Gennady would 100%.
possibly. I mean, if Todd was 209, probably or 95. What the hell is he going? He's going in
Yeah,
209 for
he's
rapid.
90. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah, I don't
weighs
know.
like 97
Maybe
even
it's not
without
the good
cutting.
argument. It's just the fact that it's a move that he does and he's known for side pressure. So I was happy that I was able to equal that. Now, would I like to get strong? Like, I would like to be 120 plus. So I've done a 118. I'd like to be 120 plus going to Irma's. I would love to get that thing to around 130 for Levon, which I don't even know is possible. Like, I don't know if you can grab a belt like this and just 130 pounds raw. I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
I don't
that's a
know. Levon
lot of
has that
side
type of
pressure.
move, you know.
I'd be
I
a
mean,
little nervous.
yeah, I mean, Rebecca's always afraid someone to snap some shit. Like, like, are you sure that's safe? I'm like, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We're gonna try it though.
If
That's
someone
not
said
exactly what I
Vitaly and Dave definitely have more side pressure, even maybe even in that exercise. But I mean, those are some of the highest side pressure guys on the planet. So
But yeah, I mean, Dave is known for his side pressure, but does he have the same side pressure he used to have? I don't
he
know.
has more than Todd Hutchings today, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've trained together in the last year or so. I don't have footage of it, but I mean, who knows? I mean, that might be. I mean, I can't say anything as fact. I'm just happy that I have that much side pressure. You know what I'm saying? Consider people give me so much shit for not having side pressure or not
Oh
having
yeah,
center
I
table
mean,
control.
we're discussing you hitting on Gennady, which if you think about, you used to set up like this, and all you could do was catch. So the
Right.
fact that we're even discussing you hitting and flash spinning is, pretty incredible. Someone said, Henry, enjoy the channel, but you know 0.0000001% about arm wrestling. So I don't know shit anyways. You're probably right.
I do enjoy, and like when we sat here and discussed that day, and you told me how all your parameters or whatever where you make your betting from,
Yeah.
you're very detailed.
Yeah.
There's a few things that, like when we discussed it in Atlantic City, that if you don't have the information to calculate in, you're just making your own assessment, which may be accurate, may not be,
Yeah.
just because you don't have enough information.
Hmm.
But when you have the information, you have the data, you're pretty good at,
He's really good at disseminating.
pretty good at coming out with it.
information,
Yeah.
I'm good at predicting the outcome of a match. As of getting into technical details about training and this stuff, I'll leave it to the two national and world champions on the call. All right, and the state champion in Arkansas. All right. Next question. This is from a member, one of my very astute channel members. What happened to the baking with Rebecca videos?
So mornings are a catastrophe around here, a lot. And so we were doing mornings with the monsters, right?
I enjoyed that. I really did. You'd be in your garden, I'd be out here training. I enjoyed that.
Okay,
And your
Michael
baking
Todd
stuff.
enjoyed it because he literally has to do no things,
Zero things.
no things to
I
make
enjoy
something happen.
eating things that someone else made for me too, so I'm in.
You know, so for me in the mornings, it's a lot. It's a lot. And honestly, when we together are working for a brand like the Monster Michael Todd brand or the Monster Factory brand, the first thing to drop to the wayside when things get hectic is anything dealing with my specific platforms, right? So there's just not enough hours.
I'm gonna step in real quick. I would prefer her to have the bigger brand. I'd prefer her to be the one that has the I don't have a brand that big, but I'd love for her to have multi-million followers and they sourdough and all that shit, and I'm just house bitch. That would be fucking great. Like I
mean,
mean, that would be
like
awesome.
as far as arm wrestling goes, she probably has more room to grow in the
I agree.
sourdough bread is bigger than arm wrestling. Is the truth.
100%. Like I'm telling
If
you,
you could
we
corner
should
the
just-
sourdough bread market, that would be bigger than
I
Mike
should
could ever
quit
become.
filming any of my stuff, and we should focus on her. You know what I'm saying? And then when I show up, people are like, "Well, I wonder if Michael's strong enough. We haven't seen any videos." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, well, you'll be like, well, I am stronger, but she's making sourdough bread, so we got to pay the
So
bills
there's
out here.
that, yeah.
Okay, so actually, this is a question for, I guess, I can ask all three of you. I'm sorry, Lars, I don't have questions for you because
I want to
obviously
get
I
some
wrote
input
them
from
for
Lars.
Mike and
So yeah,
Rebecca.
hit
So
us a
yeah.
question that you can ask Lars.
All right, how has arm wrestling progressed in the last 5 years as like a spectator sport? So like, how do these days compare to WAL as well?
Lars, you want to take it
I,
first?
you can answer. You have
Uh,
more experience with
yeah,
WL.
but you're on the outside. I mean, you sitting here seeing how many people in your country alone who are aware of arm wrestling now.
Yeah.
Like you've seen it.
It's much more mainstream now. As I've told Michael Todd when I was over in US, a lot of people, random people in Norway, actually know Michael Todd and Davon now, and they didn't do that for 5 years ago, not at all. So it's a big difference. I think it's Instagram, East versus West, King of the Table. I think that's the biggest three reasons, and YouTube, of course. So it's really getting crazy now. Just a little bit more now, and big things can happen for sure. Don't you agree?
Yeah, what do you think, babe?
Oh, I 100% agree. If you look at and this has been mentioned previously on other podcasts, that if you look at the audience in the WAL days, when the WAL was actually paying people to come in, now there are not enough spots for people that actually want to buy tickets to be in the room. I mean, it's like filling it up. That's how much the audience is getting invested. And used to, when you would go to an event, everybody in the audience would either be arm wrestlers or
Family.
family members of arm wrestlers.
You know?
Now it's people that have never even approached a table. They just have been following the sport. That's when you know it's really growing. When it's actually gathering an audience of people that don't even arm wrestle,
Basically, people like me who have showed up in the last 2.5 years.
you know?
Well,
And
it's very similar to UFC because how many people are UFC fans but have never done martial arts?
Yeah,
right?
like if you think about the viewer, like the percentage of viewers who compete in the sport, arm wrestling used to be 1-to-1. Like there was no one who watched arm wrestling who also or who didn't compete themselves.
Right.
Versus you compare that to UFC, like if the fight's on and you're at a bar, there's plenty of fat dudes who are like, "Oh, he needs to do this, 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 and this," and I'm like, "Dude, you've never rolled around on a mat before. Like, what the hell are you talking about?" So it's
Right.
like, there's actually people who will want to watch. Now I think arm wrestling is so you got assholes like me on the internet who think that they know what they're talking about, but I've never competed. So I am that fat dude in the bar that's never rolled around on a mat before. So now it's like the sport has grown to the point where there's people like me who think they know what the fuck they're talking about. It's lovely that we got to this point. So we need more people like you guys who compete, and that's growing because now there's people like me who I started as a viewer and now am progressing to an athlete. That didn't used to exist. It used to be you were just an athlete who would maybe view. So it's like even when I go to
That's
these
what
events,
Go ahead, babe. I'll let you
like
talk first.
So you saw that poll that I put up in the Reddit thread, right? About how many people have been arm wrestling for under 3
I
years.
saw that, and like
Or if you'd
10%
never,
of people were before COVID. I mean, literally since COVID,
but if you've
90%
gone
of the
back and looked
response.
at it, the number of people that they said, I don't even arm wrestle, I just watch. It's like, wow. And
Yeah.
they're in an arm wrestling Reddit thread where people are
Mhm.
talking about training and stuff. So it's very impressive to me.
So go ahead and say what you're going to say, and then I'll say what I was about to say because you're
Yeah,
about to finish this one.
I was gonna say like anytime I go to an event that has a lot of like okay, let's put like King of the Table in Atlantic City. Everyone there is a fan, like a viewer type fan, right? But whenever I go to like an event like my practice, for example, we'll have 30 guys there. They don't even know anything about the arm wrestlers. And it makes me realize like, holy shit, there's like two sectors of fan, but there's a lot of people who are competing who are like lightly watching, but now we have this new generation of person who doesn't compete and is obsessed with the sport, which we didn't really used to get these people who are obsessed with the sport on like a really high level, but then they've never even been on a table before. That didn't used to exist, but now it's actually cool to be a fan. You watch and there's interviews and there's content. Once again, assholes like me on the internet making videos. There's actually people putting out stuff and that keeps the sport interesting as a fan. So like I am very dedicated to I want to elevate the fan experience. If you're someone at home who watches arm wrestling, I want that to be cooler as cool as possible. So that became way cooler than back in the WAL days where there wasn't match interviews, there wasn't press conferences, there wasn't any of this stuff, and it was mostly just based on money that you got from ESPN. And I'm going to guess WAL was losing money just because they didn't build up characters. Versus now, people
100%
know
the
who you
reason.
guys are.
You go throw all this money at the sport, think you have all these amazing prizes, and the sport's going to be great, and get this huge return on investment. You're not unless you develop the characters. You have to develop characters so people can be invested so they want to watch. Right.
But see, another thing, I'm fixing to tell a secret.
Well, I still hadn't finished my part, but if you want to say your stuff here.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
It doesn't matter. So here's what I was going to say. So you were saying that you are transitioned from a fan to slowly transitioning into an athlete. That's what's different about arm wrestling than mixed martial arts, UFC. People will be diehard UFC fans forever and never's like, oh, I want to go roll on a mat. No, they just enjoy the enjoy the entertainment. They enjoy being a spectator. Arm wrestling is such a unique sport that all you got to do is go find a table and you can test yourself out. Mm-hmm. So you can start off as a fan and eventually understand, like, hey, because we've all arm wrestled at one point or another. Most people, just put the arm on something, arm wrestled. But it is that unique sport that you can start off as a fan and then eventually, like, hey, this is fun. I actually like it, whatever. Whereas we've all played basketball, you know what I'm saying? But with mixed martial arts, and I always compare us to UFC because we're never going to be collegiate, and that's just not something that's going to happen in the United States. But we could take that path. I don't think we're going to be Olympics, but I think we could take the path of UFC. And the difference from us versus UFC is a fan can also get on the table and arm wrestle. The difference between having a company have me as a sponsored athlete versus having John Jones as a sponsored athlete. If John Jones is at your fitness expo, you got to get a picture with him, you get an autograph. If I'm at the fitness expo and you sign a release form saying you won't hurt me, you get on the table and say, arm wrestle world champion. You don't get to get in the ring and fight John Jones.
You can't compete against John Jones.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have now this experience, and now you associate that experience with that brand. So now whoever has you as an athlete, and it's not just me, it's any arm wrestler, we get to bring that experience to people. It's a different sport, right? I don't know. What was you gonna say? But I love the fact that we have the fans.
No idea.
No, I knew it was going to happen because
it's going.
Now, what I was going to say prior to all that is you're talking about like how the sport has gotten in the last 5 years and the fans. He's saying that people, and Lars saying people like me. And
I just remembered.
Go ahead. Say that.
All right, I'm going to cut in because
I want to get back to that because I won't forget.
My ADD will go. So a little secret that a lot of people don't know. Prior to Michael's match, the last match with Jerry.
Jerry.
At WAL. Like you said, WAL was not succeeding, we feel like, because they didn't spend enough time on character development. They really depended almost entirely on what happened at the show. Just what happened at the show. They had literally told them all in a meeting before we went out there, before anybody competed, we need you to be the biggest versions of yourself that you can possibly be. Turn it up loud, be aggressive, So when Michael acted in the manner that he did, he was trying to fulfill a part.
I really was.
He was trying to fulfill a part.
I'm not walking off the hammer. That's not even the real hammer. That was a stage hammer. I have the hammer at home. I'm just trying to say, hey, maybe people find this interesting. No, there's my hammer. I'm leaving. Like, I thought this shit was going to be more entertaining. And then somehow I'm like, I can't believe he's such an asshole. I'm like, holy shit. If Deb would have done that, it'd been the coolest thing on the planet. You know what I'm saying? I did it somehow. I'm an asshole,
and the funny thing was I'm still in the audience. And they're like, he was just going like, no,
she's like, he wasn't going to leave me.
I was right there.
We're never apart. I'm going with him.
Wasn't the real hammer. The real hammer was at home.
Yeah. So. I completely forgot about that. But so here's what I was going to say about, sorry to cut you off.
But none of that happens. None of that happens at the East versus West and the King of the Table. What you see there is real.
And all raw emotion.
Raw emotion.
And professional athletes at the highest level wanting to win, right? Yeah. Training hard and showing up the best they possibly can. But like Lars was saying, people know who I am, know who Devin is. If Lars, he has the most amazing social media presence, but he doesn't have as many followers. He posts the coolest shit. But that's what I'm saying. If people could follow the life of Lars, this guy who just went and did legs and went in the mountains with his dogs in the snow. It's the coolest shit ever. Like the stuff that this guy does. And that's all it's going to take. When arm wrestling is ready to explode, if you can take, a couple dozen people and just follow them, and then that's the story that you sell. Yes, the competition's amazing, but you got to get to know Lars. You got to get to know, obviously people know me and Devin because of our social media presence and how transparent we are online. But there's so many more characters out there that are just as interesting or more interesting. You know what I mean? It's just we haven't got to expose those to the masses yet. And I think that's going to be what's going to transpire with what East versus West is trying to do. I think that Robert Baxter is going to have a lot of ideas because of he's based in North America and he's seen how like the 24/7s with boxing and the UFCs and all that stuff, all that behind the scenes stuff build up.
It's all good.
That's how you get a fan base, man. It's not just a pay-per-view that you sell. You sell the training leading up to it, right?
Lars does have a YouTube. I saw Murphy
Yeah,
has.
I was actually about to address some questions from the
Go for
chat
it.
for Lars here.
I'm
So
gonna
okay,
use
yeah, Lars, are you on YouTube?
Yes, I am, but I haven't been very active there. But I'm just talking to my brother because he is my not very technical, but he is. So he's doing it for me. So we will start filming actually next week and put up some stuff again.
Well, there you go. So
Yeah.
make sure to check out Lars.
Yeah.
Now the other thing is, do you have a match kind of planned, Lars? 'Cause someone asked what's next.
For me,
Yeah.
if I have a match, I have some offers, but I need a little bit time to get some information down. So I will do like a rehab this at least for some months and then start to rebuild again. So maybe I don't think I will do any competition before early this summer. I want to improve a little bit and have a little bit better time because the last match it was like in a hurry and I have to drop weight and I didn't just get 4 or 5 weeks notice. So I felt come up a little bit short. So next time I really want to improve and be have a fair shot at the winning.
So you want to put your head down a little bit and train for a while.
Yes, I will train like crazy, but in a what you call it organized manner and start slow now and build and build. So yeah.
Kind of like Mike is doing, or you're maybe gonna do daily PRs. You should start uploading like Mike. That would actually be kind of funny if you're looking for something to upload.
He's been.
Yes, I will in the end of the program, but I will just start light and do some rehab training and physical therapy and a lot of stuff to get my body adjusted again. Upper body is a little bit overtaxed now, so I need a little bit rest. Yeah, I think that would be great.
All right. So actually, since Mike isn't here, this is actually a good question for Rebecca. Rebecca, you and Jody, any interest? Has anything changed?
There hasn't been an offer.
Let me talk, dear. So can you turn your ringer off? Maybe.
Hey, Corey, we're on the live right now. I'll call you back as soon as we finish, okay?
Corey West.
That's why I didn't answer earlier. We literally just started when you called earlier. All right, I'll call you back. That's all good. See you, buddy. Bye.
I'll get Corey the invite link too.
He's driving.
All right.
All right. So what can I say about that? So what I'm going to say is I'm at the point where I'm not going to say it will never happen.
What?
Let me talk. I don't need your help here. I'm not going to say it will never happen. I'm also not going to say that I think it'll happen. Okay. I'm just, if someone were to call me today and ask, I would say no. And the reason is, as I discussed earlier, we have to focus on what is important for Michael, his brand, the Monster Factory brand, and his comeback. We have to focus on that. And the minute things start to get a little hectic, anything that is aside, which would be something that I'm focused on, is going to have to fall away because we have to put all of our attention there. So I'm not in the place where I could, as Lars was talking about, head down, focus on real training, because if it came down to it, and if I did accept a match, I need to be prepared, not just physically, but mentally as well. The mental game with the Larrett bunch is
just as important as the physical, if not more. You know what I'm saying?
And without walking in with aluminum foil wrapped around my head, I don't know right now. That would not be a good situation for me. And then when you get to talking about the physical, I will tell you, I am back to training. I have not been back on the table, but I am back to training. I am doing some arm wrestling specific training.
I cannot believe you're letting this out.
It doesn't mean anything because
I wasn't supposed to speak about it. She's like, don't tell anybody.
Well, she told me, and she told me to not tell anybody, and I've been.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean anything that I'm just back to training. I just want to be in the position that if I felt like the time was right and there was a request on the table that
a reasonable offer.
that's not even all of what I'm talking about here. That my back wouldn't be against the wall. Am I making any sense? I just want to be
I get
sure.
what you want to be in shape, so if the opportunity arises, you could say yes.
If I say yes, I don't want it to be
I'm going to get destroyed because I have no time to prep because I haven't been training.
right.
You
I
don't
need
want to
to
put your elbow down to lose just for some money. You want to actually like compete. You want to think, okay, I might beat Jody.
right. And I mean not just Jody. And the other problem with Jody is she's got severe injuries in her right shoulder, and she told me it would have to be a left-hand match. My left wrist is jacked. So I would have to be able to overcome that as well. So there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of hurdles. So I'm not going to say no, not ever, but I'm also not saying it's a possibility. I'm just saying where I was so strictly, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not in that camp right now because I have to open my mind that if I've learned anything, it's that anything is possible.
Now I have a question, and perhaps I'm foolish to think this. Am I stupid to think that maybe they would be nice to you, the Larrett camp, and they wouldn't be as aggressive as they normally are?
Let me tell you what's going to, yes, you would be stupid to think that.
I don't think so
Fair.
necessarily.
No.
I think that there's
No, you're very naive and delusional. That's the next one. Okay. They are not made that way. And Michael Todd has made it well known to them everything that could be considered a weakness for him and for me, areas that can be attacked. So when people say, oh, we want to see the Michael and Devin, I'm not, no, we don't. No, we don't, because Michael's giving him all the ammunition that he needs. No, we don't. We don't need to see it. Don't want to see it. Don't want to be a
And
part of
Devin
it.
is perfectly built to beat Michael as well, just from a stylistic standpoint. The guy that's, so good at climbing and battling for height, that's the exact thing the Kings move would hate. So,
Well,
that
I'm
man.
not opposed to a match with. She doesn't like. Her fear isn't of
I
the
don't
match
care
itself. She doesn't
if
care about the
Michael,
outcome.
I don't care about the outcome.
She cares more about the
I'm not going through that.
prior to build up height of a match where Devin can.
It's never pretty. I mean,
No, I don't want to be a part of it. Don't want to be on the
I
other
mean, the
side of
last
that.
time we arm wrestled, the hype. I mean, it wasn't bad. The
it was
actual
healthy.
the trash talking in the match. I felt like he had saved a lot of that stuff. If he was coming out on top, that he could
No,
use,
well, let
which
me
was
tell you
fine.
this. This is how one
But-
of the last discussions went with Devin. And I can understand, I greatly respect Devin and Jody for what they have done to the sport, for the sport. But we actually had a discussion, and it was after the Oleg match. We had a discussion, and I was like, well, Devin, used to, because they have history, you would call and you would say, okay, what is off limits? And he goes, yeah, I don't really do that anymore.
No
He
limits.
said,
There you go.
I've decided nothing is really off limits. And if he feels like they might want something to be off limits, that's definitely going to be a point of contention. So no, I'm not. I don't want that. I don't want to be a part of it. And the funny thing is,
I still don't think that's the case. If we arm wrestle, I don't think that'll be the case.
I 100% know it will be the case.
Devin will be mean to you, Mike, 100%.
100%.
So when I say, okay, here's the deal. I fully expect he'll be mean to me. But he knows our history, and he knows the lines he wouldn't cross. And I still don't think he would, even though he.
No, you've given him those
I've
lines.
given- I've
He would
given-
be
I
he would
don't
be
think he's off.
reasonable, but he would definitely be.
I still think he respects me enough not to cross those particular lines. Now, there may be other things that he does that I did not mention that I might find offensive that wasn't on the list. You know what I'm saying?
I love that you live in this delusional world.
Well, that's
That
the
is
world I live in.
incredibly nice. So you think that Devin Larrett respects you more than he respects Oleg or Pushkar or Dennis?
I think he understands me more.
And you think he understands you more, thinking that you might be more dangerous than
No, I just
anybody?
think that Devin has enough respect for me as a human being, since I have let him know the things that I would consider not something that we could recover from.
Okay, I'm
You
going
know
to
what I
tell you
mean?
something right. I'm going to tell you something
And
right now.
I just feel that he has enough respect that he wouldn't do those things.
I'm going to tell you something right now. when Devin goes into that cave in his mind,
Because I know a lot of times he doesn't remember what he said. He's like, "Oh yeah, I did say that." I
when he
know.
goes into that cave in his mind, he is not even thinking about the relationship or the friendship. He is thinking about completely disassembling his opponent, mind, body, and soul.
He's thinking about winning. That's winning and embarrassing his opponent as much as possible in that victory. Yeah,
But it's what you guys don't understand. It's not only about winning the match. It is literally beating the human spirit.
absolutely. And he wants the same done to him. Like he loves it
He
when they
does.
throw it back. But it's
He
just hard
does.
to throw it back because he's so fucking good. But there's
Well,
not
that's
a
Eddie
lot of
Hall.
people that can make
Eddie Hall was funny. Eddie
Yeah.
Hall was funny.
Yeah.
Actually, quick thing here. We've got some super chats. So we've got Cole Rabone here. I think I've heard of you as a competitor. Monster Todd, can you host a practice at your factory? At your factory, you own a factory, and let us come visit from Louisiana. Like all arm wrestling videos, help us push them into the algorithm. Yes, like everything that I post specifically. And we've got a super chat from Murphy. I would prefer to watch Devin and Mike defeat Team East. I think I agree with that. Right
And I believe
now,
that's our path right now. That's our
you're
current. That's
here,
our
you're
current path.
here.
Right.
They
Yeah, I
don't need
mean,
to cross. Eventually, I mean, if you're number one and he's
we're
number
about to see
two,
a very large Devin. I mean, Devin is taking a super heavyweight match. Don't expect this to be a small Devin that shows up in Tbilisi. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
love that people are still like, but he's 105 yards. So
so
wrong.
that's so fun. And
He
that's
was
even
105 for
even
weigh-ins.
when
That was it.
he and I pulled at the WAL in 2018. He's like, "Oh, you were 270. He was 225." I'm like,
No,
"No,
he wasn't.
they had him listed at 225. He was 263. I was 278. That was, I mean, those are our weigh-in weights. That's what we weighed that day." But yeah, I mean, he's supporting me. I'm supporting him. This whole Team West thing is real. Uh, he actually has been a lot of help in this the past
A lot.
4 or 5 months, just um, in this journey. You know what I mean? Like it's been cool. But we do have a long-standing relationship for a very long time. But we also know that it's inevitable that we will, before we hang up the the strap, we'll get back on the table again. You know what I mean? Like it's just inevitable.
yeah, I mean, I'd even go as far as say I bet it'll happen 2 more times.
Yeah. What I think will happen is we will have a first one to win 100. That's what we're gonna
That
have.
would be good. Yeah.
First
Now
one to
I'm
win
actually
matches.
curious. The more rounds, do you think that favors you or him?
I think this is my honest opinion. I think Devin Leonard has the best endurance in the world against multiple people. Like you set him up, do a king of the table. He can pull multiple styles of people back to back better than anyone in the world. I think if I am equally as strong as Devin and make him work as hard as I work,
Did you see that?
yeah, he bleeds and fades just like any other man. So I
We
think
saw that against Gennady. I mean,
yeah.
he gets tired
Well,
for
we saw
sure.
that 2018 in our match.
Yeah.
I made him work at his maximum effort, and he fatigued, and that's what happened against Gennady. Like the reason Devin's so good is because he has such long leverage. Not so good, but so good in endurance wise. He has such long leverage that he can have spots where he can actually not have to put the same amount of output that his opponent does. He has what you would consider somewhat of a resting positions, to where he doesn't have to go at 100% where the opponent is. And because of that, they bleed at a much faster rate. He's exceptional at what he does, though. That's a fact.
All right, we've got Jeremy Parker. He said, "Hello, Lars. Hope you are doing well." Jeremy Parker's awesome. I've heard nothing and seen nothing but great things from him.
Thank you. Hope
And
he's doing well as well.
he said, do you? Someone asked him if he trains with Mike Todd. He says, "No, I'm just a fat kid he lets hang around." I
I'm
think
gonna tell
you're
you
definitely
what,
at least a strong fat kid at the very minimum.
he has a very
He's very
bright
strong.
future.
He's strong.
Isn't he large? Like
Yeah.
April will be 2 years. April will be 2 years to this kid, and now he's treating himself like an athlete. He's having much better nutrition. I think he's weighing like 309 pounds this morning. Strong everywhere. Every time he gets on the
Amazing
table, he's actually
talent.
strong.
And he's smart. He's technical and smart. He's
Right,
very
like-
technical. Yeah.
For a 21-year-old kid, like I think his future is very bright. Like
Yeah.
barring injury or just something in his life that would keep him from training, the kid's potential is limitless.
There you go, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Waff Cake has asked this so many times, so I will give in. Henry, please tell Michael I said hi. So Waff Cake says hi.
Well, hello. How are you doing?
He asked about 20 times, and I feel like a piece of shit ignoring him. All right. Let's do match predictions real quick, because I did say we would do that. Let me just get the matches up, and we'll do, even though I already technically did this with you, Lars, we'll do it again. Me and Lars already did an interview where we did match predictions. All
You haven't
right.
put it out yet? The video
No,
has the
no,
video
it's
been
out. Yeah, it was
okay.
out a couple weeks ago. All right,
Okay.
Sergey Kalinachenko against Frank Lamparelli.
Lars, you go first.
I'm a little bit back and forth. This is one of my favorite matches. I'm really excited to see this. Actually, I was thinking about that match when I saw some videos yesterday. I actually don't remember who I picked last time, but I'm still the same. I'm not sure. I think it's
I think last
50-50
time you
match.
said it was real close. I mean, it was about what you're saying
Yeah,
now. I think you gave the
yeah,
edge to Sergey.
yeah. Maybe I think Sergey may have some more power, but I think Frank's wrist is really dangerous for him. So I'm not sure. 50-50.
What are
All
your
right,
thoughts,
and you
Becky?
two?
I don't have any thoughts on this one
So
specifically.
go ahead.
I just know that Frank is a dangerous man.
Yeah, so I like Sergey a lot. I think he's a good kid. And I think he has more weapons than Frank. I just think Frank's ace weapon might be too much. 55, 45
Really?
Frank. Yeah.
Like, I'll let you guys know some inside information. Only the channel members know this. So I did a Sergey interview, and Sergey told me that Frank won't even get to the straps, and he's gonna flash pin him 3 times in a row without even trying.
I love him.
I
I love
love
his
Sergey.
confidence.
Sergey's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, anything is possible. So who
I
knows?
love his
Just
confidence.
from the
I don't think it's
information
gonna
that I
happen with
have
that.
and the fact that he is now training more for arm wrestling. Like Frank, a
Hmm.
lot of Frank that we've seen has just been Frank part-time in it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Frank's being more serious because of the opportunities that exist with East versus West King of the table, right? So I think we're going to see the best version of Frank we've ever seen. And I think that means his hand and wrist may be very, very impressive.
Yeah, Martino has told me that Frank has shown up for super matches literally not having spent a day in the gym. Like
Of course.
literally he just would show
No,
up
he's a
and he's
natural.
that fucking strong and his hand is
Yeah,
just I mean he's a freak. I mean
I
in the
agree.
best way possible.
So are him and Hermes really spending a lot of time training together,
They
or was
had
that
they've had several practices together.
okay? That's smart on Hermes'
Damn right.
part.
It's smart on both of their parts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I
Like
mean, but on Hermes' part, because he's like, oh, Frank's got some
recent experience with Michael.
recent experience.
With a much smaller Michael,
Yes.
but and then not near as strong Michael, but still it's experience. And Hermes has a lot of experience pulling me as well. So, but go ahead. Who's next?
All right, David Dadakan against Alex Kardashev.
Okay, so I'm 55-45 Dottie
Same.
just because he's so damn explosive. He's so damn explosive, and if I mean,
I would be surprised if Alex was winning center for sure.
that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, Alex has more lanes, I think, and the greater leverage, but the sheer explosiveness and just violence of Dottie is somewhat scary.
I'm
And
actually
he's
just
super-
now. I was also just now realizing, Lars, when we did our interview, these matches weren't announced yet. If you remember,
No,
before we did our match predictions, I said, but there may be some more matches announced yet. So I'm
that
sorry if we don't say that.
that
So I think these
explains.
two weren't announced.
Yeah, that explains a lot because now I was thinking, what? I can't remember predicting that
Yeah, because I was
match.
thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I normally remember what they say, and I don't really know what Lars said. So yeah,
No.
we literally never did these. So this is for the first time on the Henry Naring YouTube channel. Lars, Alex Kardashev, or David Dadakan.
Yeah.
Answer that, excuse me, answer that.
I agree with the explosiveness of Daddy Khan, but I think Alex may take his hand. May. But I think this one is close as well. For
Now,
me, this one is
in
50-50,
round
this one as
4
well.
against Morozov, David Dadakan lost his wrist, and I've never seen that happen before. And he was able to kind of dead wrist press a little bit. So even if he were
Yeah,
to lose his hand, there may still be a little something else there.
it could be. It could be.
All right, and then for Rebecca,
Oh, I agree.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, I
slight
said
edge to Dadakan.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
he's
go ahead.
just Daddy can. Just don't see him. Okay, I have to back up just a little bit because before Kurdecha arm wrestled, and I know arms matter, right? But before Kurdecha arm wrestled Cataret, in Florida, we all thought this might be the dude. This might be the most powerful dude. And then he was killed. I mean, Jerry killed him. I just, he lost a lot of stock with me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Solid matches.
Yes, I know that.
He had just beaten Georgi Svekov, but I would like to run that back because Georgi's leg was completely messed up, like way worse than we thought.
I don't even think that should be in
And
the
then left-handed, he had the war with Morozov. Very impressive. Like the dude looked like this raging giant on stage.
I'll say
that was a great match.
Okay, I'm gonna say two things here. One that is gonna get probably my head eaten off by the chat. That match wasn't as close as people remember it. If you watch it back, it wasn't that close. I'll say Morozov and Kardashev. You watch it back. I understand it was 4-2, but if you watch it, you never really feel like Alex is winning. It's like when he pinned Morozov, you're like, huh? But then when there was 3 rounds where Morozov flash pinned him. So yeah. Also, some people in the chat saying that Alex will win on endurance. Alex is the first man to gas out against Dave Chavey. I can promise you he will not win on endurance. If he's winning, he's winning pretty quick.
That was so mean. That's the meanest thing you've ever said live. I was going to jump back to the kid and ask if I could host a practice.
Oh my God, yes. I never had
happy to host a practice. It won't be before Hermes. The one thing is, like I said, I believe I'm going to come out on top against Hermes, which means I will have till June before I have to pull Levon. So instead of coming right back and go straight into a hardcore prep, I will have a 4-week just probably maintenance period where I'm just doing my maintenance weights and enjoying life and doing cardio and just enjoying, the victory. So in that time would be the perfect time for me to host some sort of a practice, you know what I mean? In that month between basically getting back home to the end of March. I don't know what's happening between there. And that's the cool thing. The space is finally complete. Like we passed inspection 2 or 3 weeks ago. So the gym flooring's in. So Lars, the gym flooring wasn't in when you were here, was it?
Me, you were putting it on when I was the last time.
Yeah.
Just finish it. Yeah,
it's so amazing. Like just going out there now, it's just like I'm so excited and thankful for it. So I would love to eventually host another Monster Factory event. Of course, have you on that, but and then host some practices because it is a great place to fellowship. It's a great place to have people come and see what is possible for a life of an arm wrestler, right? Arm wrestling victories and prize money did not get me all this. Social media helped drastically. Probably most of it was social media and partnerships that I gained through social media, right? So there is a future for arm wrestlers now who are coming up to potentially do this full time. And I like for people to see this and see that what's possible. I like for people to go, like when you were here, to go downtown and see the Walk of Fame. I mean, I'm on there with General Douglas MacArthur and Bill Clinton and Sam Walton because of arm wrestling. Like arm wrestling got me that. It wasn't.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Exactly.
Actually,
and I want.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I want to see what's possible.
Even today, yeah. So you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm done. That was it.
Even today at the gym, people, some random guy come up to me and asking about your gym. Does he have that at home? That's a big gym. How does he afford it? Through arm wrestling, through social media. They ask him the question, and you do social media and arm wrestling, and it's very inspiring for all of us arm wrestlers.
Well, it's just nice to see what someone could achieve because the opportunities are so much bigger now. I was telling someone who was just here, Ben Freeman, who built me the arm combat side pressure machine. He built me another machine that I just installed. I was telling him 35 years ago, I had to hope to get a flyer in the mail about a tournament to get on someone's mailing list or show up at the festival or fair and hope that they're still having an arm wrestling tournament. If you wanted to learn how to arm wrestle 30 years ago, you had to find someone who arm wrestled. You couldn't go online and find tutorials, right? Like it took much longer to become good than it does now. Back 5 years ago, we had some people show up almost 5 years ago, show up to the Monster Michael Todd International. They've never arm wrestled in life. They watched on YouTube, learn how to arm wrestle, and I think the father and son both won their class. They were extremely technical arm wrestlers who had never arm wrestled. You know what I mean? They just watched arm wrestling on. So it's
funny story about that. Actually, when I first, I'll a little bit brag about myself. When I first went to my club, someone literally asked me how many years you've been arm wrestling, and I was like, "This is my first ever time on a table." It literally, like, he was just like, "You're just moving, like you kind of get it." I was like, "That I just been watching for so long." We had another guy 1 week later come in, like first ever session, and he was like, "You don't need to teach me any of the safety stuff. I know." I was like, "Dude, you've never even been on a table before." And he was like, "But yeah, but I've watched the videos. I know." And sure enough, he was like pulling in a good top roll, and he,
My
wasn't getting
goodness.
separated. He didn't instantly just try to go like this. He was instantly pronating and rising. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you just showed up. Like, so like, and he was like, "Yeah, I've just, I arm wrestled my friends once or twice, and I watched the video." I'm like, okay, wow. Also, big sorry to Cole that I didn't have him answer your question sooner. I apologize. But
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, that's all good. But yeah, it's just arm wrestling's in a cool place. But let's get back to predictions.
All right. Stoyan Golomanov against Vasily Dautashvili. Who knows anything? Let's go.
No, I have no opinion on this because I don't know them at
I
all.
can give my opinion, and then Lars can give his. Both gentlemen are amazing. Stoyan, remember threw him at Todd Hutchins in 2012 PAL when I beat Pushkar, and Todd Hutchins was able to run through him with side pressure. Stoyan has been an amazing arm wrestler for years from Bulgaria. I'm sure he's won Europeans. I don't know if he's ever won the WF or not. He may have a WF world title. What's the other gentleman's name? I know it starts with a D from Georgia. That dude, Vasily or somebody?
Yeah,
Vasily something?
Vasily Dautashvili.
Yeah, yeah. That cat, he hit John hard at that 95 kg Vendetta thing back in 2013, 14, can't remember the year. And like I said, another guy who, I mean, he's Georgian. It's in Georgia, 55-45. But still, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it could be 50-50, and I immediately get the Georgian 5% because he's in
They're
Georgia.
getting a little bump here for sure.
Yeah.
And what about you, Lars?
Yeah, I agree with everything he said. Both very high level pullers. So yeah, I give the extra 5% to the Georgian, at least when it's hometown as well. So yeah.
I think I said in my interview with you, Lars, like the level of this match is here, but then the popularity is here. Like no one really knows anything about these guys, but we also know
Exactly.
that they're very high level because they're just like
Exactly.
Vasily's
That's
been
exactly the
inactive
thing.
recently, and Stoyan, I mean, he just beat Nugo, and Nugo
Yeah.
just didn't even feel RVJ. So Stoyan's
When did Soyan
got to
beat
be
Nugo?
quite
When
good.
was this one? When did Soyan beat Nugo?
Oh,
Was
it
that
was
East?
Petro versus Nugo. I apologize.
Okay, I
Stoyan
was
beat
gonna say, holy shit! You know what I'm saying?
Stoyan
Like,
beat
I
Brandon
changed my bet. I
Alcessa.
changed my bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was about to change this shit immediately.
It
Yeah,
was
but
Stoyan
yeah,
and Brandon Alcessor. Then after that, right after that, it was Nugo and Petro. Yeah,
But you
Nugo and
have to
Petro, man, that
know
was awesome. That was a great match.
when you're like, it's going to be a great match. Of course it is. And I've seen Ingen say that in posts before. Any match that ends up on an East versus West or a King of the Table card, you know it's going to be a good match because it's people that have worked their ass to be off, I mean, or to be there.
yeah, work
Work
their
their
asses
ass off
off.
to be where they're
Well,
at. It's
so
gonna be a
much
good
on
match.
pedigree is East versus West WAF, and people
Yeah.
don't know. Like the people who watch arm wrestling for the WA or watch arm wrestling from YouTube, they don't understand the pedigree that exists in a WAF world title.
Yeah,
I mean, you go back 20 years, that's the only thing that mattered. You know what I'm saying? The only person who didn't go to that was John Brzezinski, and he went 99 because they had in Japan, they had an overall was like $10,000 or something. John was the only human on earth that didn't go to PWF because that's where the best competition was. That's where the voters were. Oh, Denison Plinkoff, I lied. Denison Plinkoff's the other guy who didn't go. Everyone else, EAF, WAF, I mean, that's it. That's where you showed up to show out, to find out how good you were, right? And then Zloty Tour, Nimrod Cup, all that stuff. But yeah, if you're an established EAF, WAF puller, if you're Eastern European and
You're
you've been at
bad,
this, yeah,
man.
you're no slouch. You know,
Yeah.
you know how to arm wrestle. So,
yeah.
like you said, the level is extremely high. The notoriety and popularity is very low, just because people don't know who they are.
Especially if your name ends in Villy, stay the fuck away. As far as I'm concerned, you know what I'm saying?
Stay away. Yeah.
Or off. I mean, really, if you got a OV or an Illy at the end, so Golomanov and Dautashvili are both fucking, killers who are just gonna say, I want the table to do the speaking, and we will see who wins. But
Right?
then
That's
they're gonna,
that's your press
but they're
conference.
so
There you
good,
go. Yeah.
An example of that is Azat Srapion against Daniel Ustinov. I don't know about either of those guys, and those guys had a fucking grinder. That was, in my opinion, match of the night. Even
Oh,
though it
7 rounds.
wasn't, yeah, all
7
seven
rounds for the world
rounds,
title. You know what I'm saying?
all
Like that shit was
competitive
crazy.
rounds. You genuinely didn't know who was going to win until the very end, and you at no point felt confident about someone. Reno and Sagov is also up there too, but you were probably feeling pretty good about Reno. Kind of just felt like he missed the go in round 6. But yeah, like Azat Serapion and Daniel Ustinov was terrific. All right, Bacho and Brad Grundy.
I have to say Bacho. And I love Brad. I think that Brad has been capable. I do not know if Brad is capable now, simply because I just don't know where he's at, right?
Hmm.
But it's the Georgian thing. I mean, it's just flat
Another
out
Illy.
Georgian. You
His
know,
name, yeah.
I have to go with Pacho. Yeah.
What do you think,
I
Lars?
want Grundy to win. Please, I want him to win. I just think it's going to be Pacho. Go ahead.
I think Batcher for sure is the favorite, but I think Brad Grundy have a great talent. I don't know how his training is now because he was quitting and he was starting again, and looks like he have great potential. And when he's training, he's really rising his level very fast. So I hope he can do something. I like him as well, and I really hope he can do something. But Batcher is for sure is the favorite.
So here's a funny way of looking at an analysis. We saw what Brad Grundy did to Matt Mass.
Yeah,
Extremely impressive, correct?
that
Yes.
was impressive.
We saw what Sandra Serdis did to Matt Mass. We know that Bacho is greater than. I mean, we know that Reno is greater than Sandra
Pacho.
Serdis. Sandra Serdis.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
know that Bacho and Reno had a battle. So just that whole messed up shit I just said, 100% lets you believe Bacho is the favorite. I think that there is a 30% chance that Brad Grundy can pull off the upset.
I would love to see it.
25% because it's in Georgia. So get an extra 5% bump to the Georgia. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, Bacho's a favorite.
Well, this I'm sort of being pulled multiple ways. So Brad told me that like initially he told me about that he had this match announced. I guess I shouldn't be saying this, but he did tell me before it was announced publicly. Sorry, Angan. We were talking about it though, and he was saying like, should I kind of feel like the underdog? And I was like, yeah, you kind of are, Brad. I don't know what to tell you. I was funny. I didn't want to tell him that, but I'm like, yeah, when moment I saw this, I was like, that doesn't look good. But he said he wanted to bet on himself, so I was like, I'll bet $100 on Botcho, but I will be cheering for Brad. I hope to lose my money.
Right.
Brad's such a good kid, though.
He is.
But it's
Yeah,
the
I love
it's
Brad.
the
He's great.
inconsistency. I'm retired. Sorry to admit. I'm back. I'm retired. I'm back. I'm a
He
doctor.
was telling me
Like, I don't know what the fuck he's
he
doing. You
was
know what I'm
telling
saying?
me
Like,
he felt in great shape. So
yeah.
for what
I
it's
mean,
worth,
that's
he's in a good shape. If he can keep
he
his
is a very
pronation.
impressive young man. He's a
If he
very
can,
impressive.
like, I mean, he stopped Todd Hutchings. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. It was like
Yeah.
a war. But if he can keep his pronation, I could see him low handing and maybe getting something right here, and Bacho just tries to slam sideways and lose his wrist, maybe. But I also heard from Reno. Reno told me I asked him about this match, and he said like 100-0 Bacho. Bacho's impossible to top roll. That's what Reno told me. Reno was like, "There's no fucking way." But I also think Brad's top roll is probably quite considerably better than Reno's. And he's got 3 rounds to give it any type of something. And if he gets anything, he'll win. If he
Right.
can keep his pronator in any round, it's over. But all right. Henry, where did you come from and why you so good at this? Thank you, Cole, for the super chat. I don't know. I'm all right. I'm a fan. All right. Are we done with Bacho and Brad? We'll go to the next one.
Yeah, we all agree Bacho's our favorite, but y'all are kind of like rooting for Brad.
Whoa.
Maybe not
Brad
Lars.
will kill him, okay?
All right, all right.
USA. All
That's
right.
right.
Oleg Jacques against Daniel Prokopchuk.
I got to put Oleg as a favorite just because the sheer size in the hand and Daniel trying to get a hold of that thing. You know what I mean? Daniel is a miracle worker. The kid's super, super impressive. You definitely, if he sinks his hook, it's over. I just don't know if he's capable. 60-40 Oleg.
What about you, Lars?
Yeah, I think last time as well, I did go with Oleg. I always have a hard time see Oleg losing, even if he does sometimes. When you see his hand and his forearm and how he connects, it's always hard to see him losing. I don't see him losing this.
And you, Rebecca?
I agree. I know that it may be closer even than what Michael was saying, the 60-40, I think is what you just said, right? It may be closer. My heart wants Oleg to be as dominant as he ever was. I really want him to have that back, and
Oleg of Prime wouldn't feel Daniel Prokopchuk. Wouldn't
no,
even, yeah, not even
it'd
close.
be like, you're not, no. Yeah. So I really want to see him rising to that space again. So my heart's going to say it's going to be Oleg. And I'm really going to bite off a whole lot here and say it's going to be dominant. Okay.
I had Brad Grundy, and he said this match would be the most shocking result. He was that certain that that Daniel Prokop or that Oleg Jacques would win, and I tend to agree. Like, I mean, the fact that Jacques made him and Betkili close, I can't
That Keegan was
imagine
bad too.
Daniel and
But
I
Becky
can't
was
imagine Daniel
the
Prokopchuk
stronger
is
team.
even close. I mean, like that's a
Two
weight
completely
difference
different sized
wise.
humans.
They're literally two weight classes between them, and Betkili's a big guy at 95 kilo, and
Right.
he can really reach around, and he still lost his wrist.
Right.
So I'd be pretty shocked. All right, Malin versus Fia.
So I was on a phone call or Zoom, I don't know, talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, I don't know anybody under 65 kilograms that could, or under 70, whatever, that could beat Fia. He's like, oh, this match is 65. I'm like, oh shit, because the last time Malin pulled Fia WL, she blasted her 3-0, and Fia was
Yeah,
champ, ran over
If
her.
it's actually 65, isn't it 70?
it's 70 kilo. Yeah,
70.
Is it?
Yeah, I think
Is it
it's
70?
70.
So it's 70. Okay. Well, that's even better. So that makes it better for Malin, right? Because Malin doesn't have to cut as much.
yeah, yeah.
Fia is an insanely talented, strong arm wrestler.
Fierce.
Amazing. Malin really came into her prime the last 5, 6 years. And I think she really, really wants it because I remember Malin wanted her to be Arena Makova's comeback match.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know who Arena Makova is, but that was the greatest female wrestler of all time.
I
You know
would
what I'm saying?
love like
Yeah.
I think Rebecca, you made a post on the Reddit like asking what women matches you wanted, and I said Barbara against Irina Makeva. I want to know. I mean, Irina was so dominant, much more dominant than Barbara today. Barbara and Gabby is close. Irina was in her prime. No one could stop. I mean, she was the female Levant, undeniably.
Here's a
So
question for you, real quick. Who's the stronger person, Gabby or Barbara?
define stronger person.
The stronger human.
Gabby.
Gabby is
Gabby.
by far the stronger human. She just can't. She gas out.
For,
She
for
can't.
sure.
She's the stronger human. She crushed
Yeah.
her. In round two, she
Okay.
did this.
The argument I make is like the winner of the arm wrestling match is
No,
stronger.
that's,
But
once you
who?
start going best of 7,
Okay,
it's best of 5. Yeah,
who produces the most peak force in on the first round?
Gabby.
It's Gabby, and it's not even close. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
If we
Yeah.
can fix Gabby's pumping issue, the bad nutrition she had the week of, and her recovery time, that's a different outcome.
I think
But the
She
thing
should
is,
win 4-0. She could. I mean,
it has
literally.
to happen within the next year because Babor is going to keep getting
Okay.
better, in my opinion.
But I believe that you gave her the proper advice.
I think I
to
gave her the-
fix
yeah.
that. She was
She can-
training incorrectly. 100% training incorrectly.
She was training very correctly for max effort, max strength, one
For a
match,
tournament.
but she was not training correctly for a super match. You know what I mean?
Which is
Yeah.
why she
I
lost
think
in the exact same way she lost in the first one.
She
I
just
think the
thought she had to
nutrition
be
was a
stronger.
big part as well. She did tell us that she eat a lot of strange things the last week, so I think that was a big part of it as well.
You can't feed that.
I was
to
like,
your
"What'd you
body.
have for nutrition?" None of the things I eat in Brazil. I'm like, first off, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And then the night before, the one food you shouldn't eat if you're concerned about a pump is what she had. You know what I mean? Like,
So it's I felt so bad for her because right there after the second round, her forearm was like iron. It was so hard and like the hand was gone.
I'm a huge fan of Gabby. I'm a huge fan of Babora. Babora is amazing.
Yeah. That match was my favorite match on the card. Like,
I love
like,
it.
or,
So
well,
awesome.
Jerry and Levon, of course, I'm a little more excited for, but like that was a close number too. And at any other East versus West, like Levon's my favorite arm wrestler to watch because I'm always, I mean, I'm rooting for him to lose, but I love watching his greatness, so I always appreciate any result. But that was like my close second of my favorite match because I know Gabby was getting better because I know she was hurt the first time, but you also know Barbora's getting better because she's like, 10 years old. So it's like she's improving so quickly that I love when there's two guys that are on the rise at the same time. and it's who's rising quicker. I love when you see something like that. And their first match was terrific, 3-2 comeback. Like
And this one's forced to come back. Like it was the same match.
it was the
Like
same match. Yes.
it's just, it's so impressive. People like the only two people in the world who currently compete that can pin Barbara and pin Gabby are Barbara and Gabby. You know what I'm saying? Like there's the only two
And
people.
that's
You know
why
what
it
I'm
was
saying?
so
Like,
funny because someone actually posted, is there anybody in the world that could beat Barbora? We're like, yes.
the chick she just arm wrestled. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Gabby
that
was
we
about
never
this
about.
close to beating her like 2 days ago.
we don't have this inside information, and Lars may not be able to share it. But how did the strong women look on the table?
They were pretty strong. Pretty strong.
See, there's a difference, and I'm gonna tell you, there's a difference in my mind of how someone can come from another sport and be amongst the top in a short period of time. I think a female strongest woman can have a better transition to arm wrestling than a male strongest man.
Yes.
I agree for sure. 100%. 100%.
So I mean, I think there's some danger if some of these female
Yeah.
strong women come over because they're big and they're
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah, Neil is very good at it. He kept them down. They were not allowed to go 100% because then they get the pain and hurt
Of
themselves.
course,
And
and it affects their careers,
yeah,
right?
but
But like you talk
yeah,
about that transition when they come over, they spend a little time doing some arm wrestling training specifics now, comfortable on the table, getting their movements down. When it's
yeah,
time to
they were
exit out
very
of that
strong.
strong man,
And Rebecca and Laura, I think the hands and forearms were same size, same length as mine. So big.
I actually heard, I think Rebecca's forearm was the same length as Philip Larson's.
Yeah. Rebecca,
Like,
I think she was taller than me. I think she was almost the same weight as Philip Larson as well. She do a 300 kg deadlift.
yeah, I mean, it was
dude,
just
didn't she do
ridiculous.
like a 220 or something for 10? Like a 500
Yeah,
kilogram deadlift for 10?
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it
like
wasn't a
you,
500 kilogram deadlift for 10.
no, did I
No,
say
For
500
500
kilograms?
pounds.
you said
500 pounds.
500 kilo, 500
Yeah,
pound, yeah.
500 pounds.
Yeah.
So 225, whatever the hell the number was.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go brag on Lars real quick. You know, he was like the 19th person in history to deadlift over 900 pounds.
I did not.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Lars is the greatest athlete that we currently exist in arm wrestling today. The guy who has done the most impressive shit. I'm not saying
If
he's
we're
a great arm
talking in
wrestler.
other sports, yeah,
The
in the
greatest
running.
athlete that currently competes in arm wrestling. The man inside his career has one of 60 people to ever deadlift over 900 pounds, and unofficially the heaviest human being to ever hike the tallest peak in Western Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
With like a 50-pound backpack, 60-pound backpack. Like humans are not supposed to be able to do those two different things. Lift
Yes.
900 pounds, hike the tallest peak. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit does not correlate. You know what I mean? Like the fact that the man is so
Like
exceptional.
zero crossover. One hurts your chances of doing the other.
Yeah, the fact, and regardless if he was doing both things simultaneously, it doesn't matter. He's done both things in his life.
Yeah.
So he's a special individual. Now, prior to him, I thought the greatest athlete arm wrestling had ever seen was Alexei Bavoda, because
Someone actually just mentioned him the other day.
Olympic gold medalist in bobsled, world champion. I don't care if he got it stolen. He still won the world championship.
Stolen.
You know, taken back, whatever. I don't give a shit. He did it. Like he did it, enhanced or unenhanced. I don't care. And world champion, overall number one in the world in arm wrestling. Two completely different disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
You understand your athleticism you have to do that at the highest level in the world? That shit's amazing.
My buddy Alex said he should hike while deadlifting 900 pounds.
Well, there you go. He'd be the most famous dude on earth. He sees some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's gotta keep the show going. All right, Bet Killy and Oleg Petrenko, and I'm gonna start this with my prediction.
Go for it.
I am gonna predict this match in a way that a match has never been predicted before. I'm going off of psychology. Okay,
Well,
Oleg Petrenko is a humble guy who never talks shit, never says he's confident. Always, every match is a 50-50. And then he trained with Oleg Jacques, who had a match with Bet Killy. And then after that, he's on the Engens podcast saying he's got a 70% chance of winning, getting all grinny and getting all cocky and shit, saying he's going to win. What I think happened is I think right after that match, he trained with Oleg Jacques, and I'm going to guess he is trampling Oleg Jacques. And that made him realize I'm going to beat Bet Killy Oniati. So even though he's an Eastern European who would never say he was going to trample him, that pushed him to the extreme of saying 70-30. But I believe in his head, he actually knows this is a foregone conclusion that he's going to win. I've even bet with Brad Grundy on it without telling him all this data. So now I am almost certain that Oleg Petrenko is going to run over Bet Kilioniani. That's my prediction.
Is that not a little bit of insider trading knowledge and you bet on it without sharing
He
that
said
info?
he said that on Engen's live stream. Brad just didn't watch it. He's just not well read. That's his fault, okay? All right,
Make
but you
sure I have
guys
all the
show your
info.
predictions. We'll do Mike first. How about?
I think Petrenko's going to win. But Killy is, I'm a huge fan. The kid's amazing. It's in Georgia. He's Georgian. I think Petrenko's going to win. Like, I can't say, I can't tell you. I just think Petrenko is special left-handed. I think special right-handed. Just Devin dismantled him. I think he's unbelievably powerful left-handed.
I mean, he was the first guy who stopped Alajon. I think Alajon's first ever match was
The
Oleg
greatest
Petrenko
match
at East versus
Alazon's
West,
had in East
and he
versus West
stopped.
was Petrenko. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
And it wasn't a great match. Alajon was dominant, but if you do anything to Alajon, we think you're the second coming of Christ.
right.
It's pretty impressive. All right, what about you, Lars?
Yeah, I have to stick to my prediction from last time, and I go with Oleg. I think it's just too strong.
Too big, too strong.
Yeah. Too big, too strong. Yeah.
What about you, Rebecca?
I'm 100% on board with that. I wasn't sure until you told me what you said. Made sense. Now I would probably bet against Brad on him as well.
Yeah. If you get an Eastern European to say that he thinks he has a 70% chance of him winning, you might as well cancel the match, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They don't even need a poll. All right. We also have a comment. Mike, have you ever had a really big Carl from Carl's Jr. and or Hardee's?
We don't
I
have them
don't
here
think
really.
we haven't eaten a Carl.
We have Hardee's here.
That's just my buddy
I-
sent a message, so I was reading it as a joke.
I love food.
We love food.
After
but-
practice, me and him always go to some fast food restaurant and just eat like a pig. So he was making a little joke.
I
All
love
right.
it.
Morozov against Vitaly Letin.
I mean, obviously, everyone thinks Vitali's going to win, and I do think he is very, very special.
Isn't that a shutout steak?
Yeah, but
It's a shutout
Yeah,
stake, and
I think
Vitaly
so.
is selling by a wide margin.
Morozov had like 7 title defenses or some shit. It's insane. But I think the whole time while he's winning and being the overall number one in the world, most people thought that Vitaly is the man. I think because of that, Morozov is extremely serious about his preparation and wants to prove that what all he's accomplished is not in vain. I still think it's 60-40 Vitaly. But if he shows up and puts the brakes on him and does something crazy, I will lose my mind because I think he's got a shot.
Ashley, so I just looked it up. He is 8-0 on the left arm. He beat Hermes, Matt Mask, Alice Kredecha, Dadikan, Sporong, Matashenko, Cody Merritt, Corey West. He has never lost a single match left-handed at East vs. West, but he's a shutout stake and no one's buying him, which is just, it's crazy on paper, but Vitaly Letin is a bigger challenge than all those guys combined. So, it is a big deal, big ask. All right, what about you, Lars?
Yeah, the same. Stick to my prediction from last time, Vitaly. But as Michael is saying, if Morozov can stick him somewhere and stop the match, I think it could be. I think we could be for a big surprise.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
most likely, I think Vitaly just will.
And most likely 4 flash pins, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah,
Something with
yeah,
title. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, that's
yeah.
most likely the outcome. But all things are possible. You know what I mean? Like, so,
yeah, apparently Morozov's also 140 kilos. I was kind of thinking, like, listen, this won't happen. But what if Morozov, like, in some way got his shoulder connected and somehow, like, even getting to the straps is a fight against Vitaly. But if he got to the straps and he got his shoulder behind it, if he even got that once, the match is over. Because
but I
Vitaly,
think
if he's burning out his back pressure trying to pull out of that press, and in some way Morozov could set that, that would be incredible. It's just
I think
I just don't see it happening. But if it did, that would steal the show. Literally any other match we wouldn't be talking about it. All we'd be talking about is Morozov beating Vitaly.
I think that's difficult. You know how good Camille is at is left to get his shoulder behind. And
Oh, it won't happen, but like, what if it
no.
did? Like, I
Yeah,
totally
what
agree,
if,
though. Like, it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense. But like, if he
no.
pulled that off, that would be, in my opinion, that would be the only way Morozov could win. You can't catch Vitaly like this if your pronator is going to be turned over. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, Morozov could curl 400 pounds, but it wouldn't matter because if he gets his pronation turned over, he's not going to win on the losing side against Vitaly. So he would in some way need to get on the winning side. So I think his only way of winning is to get his shoulder behind it. I just, it's not very easy. And what about you, Rebecca?
Okay, so I think it was 2016. We were at Zloty. And I know this is like, people are going to go, Rebecca, that was 2016. But let me tell you the magnitude of what I'm about to tell you.
Huge magnitude.
I'm prepared.
We're watching Zloty. It's left arm night. So Michael's not competing. We're just having a good time. There's this dude coming and they're like, oh, he's just getting off the plane. He's not going to make it in time for his class, but he said he's fine to go ahead and pull with the supers.
Waiting
Okay.
at 231.
Waiting at 231, but he can't make it in time to pull with his class. So he's going to go ahead and pull with the supers. Andre Pushkar was
The overall number one in the world at the time.
at the time. He comes in, literally runs into the auditorium. They're like, get on stage. You're up, dude. I'm telling you, he gets off the plane, runs in.
Out of a movie.
Out of the movie.
Flash pins.
Andre
Andre
Pushkar.
Pushkar left-handed. Like, holy shit, what just happened? You know, like I remember people turn around and look at me like, oh my God, did that just
What?
happen?
I mean,
You know,
that's
like,
exactly what
yeah.
happened. People turn around, I'm like, what just happened? Because he just runs up and flash pins Andre Pushkar. So
Now Pushkar came back and won, but still,
yes,
just that's a
But
231
just
battalion.
cut the cameras after that flash pin. That's
Right.
it.
231. Now Vitaly is huge. Okay, so yeah, he's a shutout stake for a very good reason. I believe he's going to win, but I believe
I can do better.
myself
Oh my God.
and some other people are going to make some money because I do not believe it's going to be a 4-0.
Oh, you bet on that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Well, how much money did you put on Morozov winning a round?
Winning one round, I'm not telling you how much I put on there, but
I'll tell you, I have a grand on the other side of that bet. So we
Well,
will be
basically-
we will be sparring that night.
well, it wasn't much because I just took my winnings, which I won. I was up from the last event, and I don't usually bet, but I just had like $50 to play with, right? So I took my winnings from that one, and I put some on.
So you put fun money. You're not here to make money.
Fun
You're
money.
just- okay, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
thought someone bought $1,500 of Morozov. I thought that might be you.
No,
That's
no,
not you, but you're not that type of gambler.
No,
right.
no, I'm one of those that really hate going to the horse races and losing my $2 bet, so I just don't go. You know, so, but
I was actually when
yeah.
Mike comes back, I was kind of curious. I was curious if he thinks he can roll out of Oleg Jacques' hand left-handed.
If Michael can,
If Michael can roll out of Oleg Jacques' hand left-handed.
oh, well, that's a question for him.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to ask him when he gets back.
Yeah, absolutely,
It
absolutely.
would either be really easy or he wouldn't even be close. It wouldn't be like some war. Either it's just he's a super heavyweight and there's no problem, or I mean, does he King's move Lars? Do you know this? Does Mike King's move left-handed?
No, Michael,
No,
yeah,
He-
Michael is an inside
he-
game left-handed.
yeah, and he press left
All right,
as
I
well.
can top row weak people left-handed.
Okay, so Mike, my question for you was left-handed. Could you roll out of Oleg Jacques' hand?
No.
No.
I always thought I had a shot at pressing him. I always thought I had a shot at pressing
Oh,
him.
you would beat
Like-
him in a match for sure, left-handed.
Well, I'm talking about when he was still the dude. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Before-
I'm talking today.
Oh yeah, I always thought I had a shot at pressing him even back then. Like when Devin beat him in 2014, I thought I might have could have pressed him back then. But yeah, I had no chance I could get out of his left hand.
Really? Wow.
If
So
his
his hand is
was
that
his right
strong.
hand, if his left hand was his right hand, I could definitely get out of it.
Oh,
I could
for
definitely-
sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I have a pretty heavy pronation right-handed.
So your left hand like rolling out ability is just nowhere near your right arm, I'm gonna guess.
Oh my God, no! Like,
I mean, I knew it wasn't close, but like, are we talking like
Half?
it's 70% weaker? Like, is it that bad?
it's 60% of what my right arm is.
Wow.
And that's saying I could do 200-pound pronation soon right-handed. I might could do a 120 pronation left-handed.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah. That's a lot weaker. That's a bigger difference than I thought,
Yeah,
frankly.
I'm an inside presser left-handed.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Now this makes me interested in getting you and Oleg Jacques left-handed. You heard it here first. I came up with the idea, East versus West. If you set that match, I do expect a royalty. All right. Gennady versus Devin Larratt.
Give it to me, Lars.
I stick to my same prediction as we did a few weeks ago. I go with Devon. I think he really wants this time because I think he felt that he should have done it last time, but maybe screw around a little bit too much. Hard to say what happened, but of course Gennady is really strong, and Gennady as well, I guess, want a revenge now since Michael beat him last time. But I think Devon is just too strong, too smart, too strong.
And I already know that what Rebecca and Mike think, but I'll ask anyways.
I think that it is going to be a murder. A murder. That and I love Gennady. I love all of the Georgians, but I think that Devin, people are like, oh, but no, Gennady's gonna have all of the Georgians and it's just gonna really feed him. He's gonna have that power. But what they don't understand is Devin feeds on the opposite. The more hate you
Yeah,
throw
he
at
doesn't like being cheered for. He wants you to hate him.
the more hate you throw at him, the more powerful he becomes. And I think,
Devon can feed on anything. He
yes,
can feed on anything.
I think he's going to turn it into a massacre.
Yeah, this one won't look pretty. I think talking to him center of the table, round one. You are my dog. It's gonna, and then the crowd isn't gonna like it. I'm worried about the crowd more than anything. That's what I'm here
Have
for.
you,
I'm
did
not worried
you,
about the match result. I'm feeling pretty confident about that side of things.
did you listen when, you were, you and Hermes were both talking, was it to Engen?
Yeah.
And Hermes is like, I may leave for that match. And we're like, Michael's like, us too.
Listen, my priority is making sure she's safe. If shit goes south, I'm getting her out of there, right? Just because anything's possible with Devin. You know what I mean? Like he could cross every line. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally think that it could be very dominant. Like very, very. I think he might can flash him. I think
Maybe.
Devin is. I think he might could flash him. And I think he's going to do exactly what y'all said. And I think that's the most dangerous thing for him to do. Because
And you told him that.
I told him that. He's like, yeah, I know. You know, like,
Michael's like, maybe
Oh,
don't
it won't
argue
stop
with me.
him. But he fully understands the risk associated. He will do it anyways, and it's just
he
sort
will.
of
He will.
what's gonna
And
happen,
even
right?
knowing that he will, I still think he's, a heavy favorite.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement here. It's gonna be Gennady's funeral here in Tbilisi, probably. All right, Todd Hutchings against Irakli, and I actually have a lot of money on this, but I won't say which side because I don't want to be biased at all. All right, what do you guys think?
Lars?
I think I went with Todd last time we spoke, and I think and I hope he still is too strong for Irakli. I think Irakli have improved, but it's hard to deal with Todd's style. It's very hard, so I go with Todd. What do you think, Mike?
I think the only path Irakli has to victory is 4 flash pins. If he cannot flash pin him, Todd's going to beat him.
I agree. I mean, if he were to get stuck here and if couldn't pull out of it, no way.
I mean, and I know Irakli has a lot of this, and just sit back here in this position. I don't think he can hit Todd like that and hold Todd and then just pin him. He will. I think he has to go directly through him. But I'm super impressed with the kid. I think he is at a very, very, very high level. I just think Todd Hutchins is different.
So
What
you
do you
think
think?
Todd? So you predict at some point Todd will get in his spot where he's right here, and you're yanking out of it, and just nothing's moving.
Yeah, because people think it's his side pressure. It's his application of back pressure with his side
Yeah,
pressure.
because this angle doesn't open. You can't apply side if you're getting opened this way. So
Right.
his back pressure is
So, and
as
Kurdigali
impressive
tried
as
to
his
pull
side.
out of it, and Kurdigali pinned himself because
Uh-huh.
the path to do it is this way. But because he has so much side back pressure applied when he's side pressuring, oh shit! I just pinned
Yeah,
myself
yeah,
right.
yeah.
He
You're just
opened himself
opening
up.
yourself up because
Yeah,
you
because
can't.
he has,
This
and that's what
angle is too
yeah,
tight.
it's so much back pressure that he has along with his side pressure. Once he sets that spot, it's very difficult to come out of it.
And what about you, Rebecca?
Okay, I think I said this previously. I really think Irakli has the tools, and he definitely will have the atmosphere. The home court advantage is definitely going to play in, you know, it's going to benefit a lot of the Georgians that are pulling. Not you, Gennady. I'm so sorry. But I can never bet against Todd. He will continue to fight and continue to, try to make adjustments as long as he can. I think that the first two rounds will probably go the way of Irakli. If the third round goes to Todd, he will finish it with the win. Just my
I
thoughts.
agree. Yeah, if Todd gets anything, he will win. But Irakli hasn't given anything to his last four opponents, so there is that as well. I
Hmm.
have I've got about $1,400 on Irakli to win. I'm willing to put it out there, so I will be embarrassed if I am wrong because I don't really care what the comments say. So there you go. I may lose big money, but you make the most money predicting a close match, and I have Irakli. I think Irakli
Okay, so I
will.
want to know right now, where are you with your bets? Because before the last event, you were up like 6 grand. Are you still?
I'm now up 5 grand. I lost a grand on Brian Shaw and Tobias and Corey didn't sell an arm bet. I bet on Tobias and Barbora and Gabby didn't sell. I bet on Gabby to win a round. So had those two things sold out, I would have made money, but that was the first event I ever lost money. So I'm up 5 grand now. So I have lost my streak of perfect events. I am 9 out of 10 profitable events. So now
Oh,
I have one stain on my record. Eddie Hall ruined it, which is such an ironic way to lose it because initially when he got fouled out, the bet was for him to win 4-0. And when he got fouled out, I was like, really, that's how I lose the bet?
that sucks.
But then after that, he won a real round, so I was like, okay, fair enough, I was wrong. But I would have been
Okay.
real pissed off if I lost it on fouls, but then he wins 4-1. I would
Yeah.
have I would have went to my hotel. Philip Larson's next to me and he would have watched me like cry myself to sleep. But Eddie Hall won a round legit, so it's okay. I was wrong. Well done to Eddie Hall. Well done to Neil Pickup. And I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm allowed to be the idiot in that situation. But I would have been pissed off if I wasn't the idiot and I just got unlucky. But anyway, so yeah, but this one I've got a lot of money on Rackley. I think he's just going to control Todd's pronator like this and then roll out. I would say I would be decently impressed if Irakli, because I think the first time stylistically, if you actually just watch how he pulled about as stupid as you could have. And I think he probably just didn't know how Todd Hutchings worked at the time. So he just tried to top roll him. And that obviously doesn't work because unless if you're controlling his pronator then rolling out, nothing will happen because he's as good here as he is here. So it doesn't
Right.
matter whether you top roll him. But I think this time he will fully understand it from a stylistic and strategic standpoint. He'll know exactly what he needs to do. And I
So
actually
he
think
beat
he's
him
strong
similar to
enough.
how Prudent beat him round one. Like first time Prudent pulled Todd, something similar like that, just a dominating performance is what you're thinking.
Yeah, just overwhelmingly strong. And
Yeah.
that's the only way to beat Todd Hutchings. You
Yeah.
can't beat Todd Hutchings being a little stronger than him. You need to be much stronger than him and apply it correctly, which is why he's so damn hard to beat because you even see a guy like Kidder Gabayev who's so smart, like no matter how smart he was, he even made mistakes in that match, or maybe just wasn't strong enough. That is possible too. But yeah, I think Irakli will. He's much stronger than he was the first time, and there were glimpses of hope the first time. So this time, I think he's going to be smarter from a technical standpoint, and I think he's going to show up in the best shape ever. 4-0 flash pins. That's my prediction. I think it'll be like the Prudnik match, but I may be way wrong on this one. But I'm willing to stick it out there so that way people can make fun of me afterwards. All right, Hermes against Michael Todd.
Michael Todd.
50-50 or like confident Michael Todd?
It's Michael Todd.
So
Michael Todd.
actually, this plays into my question. So I was actually curious,
Why
Mike.
did you not turn off your ringer?
I'm gonna lie. Let me call you back in a few. Bye bye.
All right, we'll wrap this up in just a few minutes. So I was
All
going to
right,
ask
buddy.
how your prep for Irby's is going. Have you had any hiccups? Is everything going to plan? How's it been?
What did Lars answer?
Yeah, he said Mike.
Oh, I had that call. I didn't know. Yeah, man. I'm doing the work, right? Like I'm doing the work. Reviewing these matches has even given me greater respect for Hermes. And I remember watching the matches and being extremely impressed then. He is a very good arm wrestler.
Very fluid.
He's a very, very good arm wrestler. But yeah, I'm not making these sacrifices and working this hard and to go in here and not represent to my fullest. And at the end of the day, regardless if you have the same faith and belief that I have it. So I believe this is bigger than me. I'm not doing this for Michael Todd. I'm just showing the rest of the world what's possible, right? So at the end of the day, and I've said it numerous times, my responsibility is to do the work. And on February 15th, let God's will be done.
Faith is a very powerful weapon. You've seen that many times.
Right. Yeah, I
It
mean,
is.
I am the underdog. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the guy that is the favorite going to this match. I don't care how many people are supporting me and on the journey with me and believing and having. On paper, I'm the underdog. I am on that day. He won't just be arm wrestling me. Like I've got to. I don't know, man. I don't know. The thing is, and I say on paper, like I've arm wrestled what I believe are stronger. Like I think Prime Dennis and Plinkoff, probably stronger. We don't know for sure. We'll never find out. Prime Pushkar, probably stronger, right? Like I've had pins on these guys. I have a winning record on Pushkar. Like, but Hermes is so technical, and he's technical from a standpoint from a middleweight who's gained 100 pounds. You know what I mean?
He's built to beat you from a technique standpoint,
People say I'm a
which would
bad
make this
matchup for him.
impressive.
If people say I'm a bad matchup, that's the opposite. He's a bad matchup for me. He does everything perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like he does everything perfect. I just think I'm gonna be the stronger human. That's what I think.
I think for me, I have arm wrestling a long time myself, and I know how important it is that you have belief when you're going into a match. I know everything. Some of my matches lately, I haven't got the preparation I wanted, and you may be sick or something. You have something in back of your head, and you doubt yourself, and then most of the times you are fucked. You did that sometimes before, Michael, but this time you are changed. I don't see any doubt in your eyes. You do everything every day. Only goal is to win this match. So I don't say Michael is going to win because we have become so good friends. It's my belief, and I see how he lives and what he does, and he believes in what he does. And then you become really dangerous, especially for a guy like Mike, who is a very emotional puller from more than me and more than most pullers. He pulls on emotions, and I think he's very dangerous now. We saw that in his last match and his match before and his match against me, and he's on a mission. That's why he's winning.
So now I'm actually kind of curious, Mike, to ask you a few questions from a technique standpoint. So how likely do you think it is that you will be at some point pressing Hermes? Since you pressed Gennady a few times, do you think you're able to, that pressing Hermes will be easier or harder than pressing Gennady?
I don't think the lane will be available early for me to press. I think his counter to a press will be too good for me to access it.
Mm-hmm. We saw that against Jerry. I mean, Jerry is the
Two
press
different
guy.
presses. Two different presses.
Still, but he definitely, if he shuts down a guy who's that good at pressing, you have to be worried yourself, even if you're coming in from a different angle.
Well, to a degree, but I'm not basing it on that. I'm basing it on the fact that someone who has a strong cup and strong rise and bicep back pressure is a difficult person for me to drive in on off the go into a press, right? As the rounds go on, does that make the ready go press available to me? Yes. But yeah, it's not a go-to for me. I will not
Okay,
be.
so press is always a secondary move.
It's almost always a secondary move unless I'm facing a presser. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm facing a presser. Like when I pulled Lars, people thought, why didn't Lars try to press? Well, he set up to press. I just countered it the way you're supposed to counter.
Mhm.
When I pulled Camille, I was going to press him round one. But
I saw you, like he false started and you kind of felt it and said, "Oh shit, I don't want to go there."
I just didn't think. I thought he could get there faster. I was like, shit, you know.
He was bullying the center
Yeah,
more
he was
so.
bullying the center big time, and it made me feel very uncomfortable in the setup. So I knew that he couldn't flop me. You know what I mean? Like, I knew he couldn't flop me. So it was a very safe lane for me to slip, go backwards, and then, hold on. Round three, if the funniest thing about round three in that match is if you go back, he's like, oh, something about something. I'm like, dude, I'm not afraid of shit. Let's just go. Just get a good fair grip. And then when we set up, you see him setting up to open topper. Like he's going to go outside. And you see me set up to press. And you see this big smile come over his face. And he comes into press with me. Because like he's like, oh, it's good now. Well, like, bro, like you'd already been gassed.
Yeah.
Like gassed. Your shit's getting pressed fast. You know what I'm saying? But you just see the look on his face of pure joy. That he's about to get in the press with me. And
I have to watch that back,
as
someone with money on Camille, I was not focused on his face. I was just crying and, sobbing and
you will see
depressed.
You will laugh because it's funny. But the opportunity versus Gennady, Gennady doesn't have the same hand and wrist that Hermes does.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gennady is a more versatile arm wrestler, even though everything that Hermes does, he does perfectly. I think Gennady's a more versatile arm wrestler. He just did not have the hand and wrist that Hermes does.
Yeah,
and that's what I have to beat his hand and wrist. Now when I say I have to, it makes the path to victory way easier if I beat his hand and wrist.
There could be a world where you're sticking your arm out like this.
100%.
It's ugly, but it would be real nice to be like this instead.
He cannot beat me from a bad position. He cannot be compromised to beat me. I can be compromised and still have a chance at winning. You know what I mean? So either the best way is me beat his hand and wrist, and I have an easier path to victory, or not be strong enough to get the hand and wrist and just have to win this thing on just being stubborn. You know what I'm saying? But I'm down with winning it however I have to win it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter because this is the most important match. Because this match gets me the shot at Levon. You know what I mean? And I've said that in several things recently. I mean, I'm very, very, people have said I'm taking him lightly or I'm this or I'm looking past him. I am 100% laser focused on Hermes Gasparini.
Actually, I have a very unrelated question. So someone in the chat just said if he thinks you should go through Devin first to get ready for Levon. That won't happen because he's already has the match set against Levon if he beats Hermes. If you have the match, why go on some side mission that may derail you? But what I was going to ask is, do you think there's a world where you could defeat Levon and lose to Devin?
You mean like I'd be the first person to beat Levon in June?
You successfully defeat Levon. Right after that, a match with Devin is set and you lose to him.
Anything's possible.
Now, and I ask that because I think I even think there's a world where a really peaked out Hermes can beat you and Levon can't. Because Hermes is so skilled at breaking down your move.
Right.
But I think Devin is even more so skilled at breaking down your move, which is why
here's what I'm going to tell you. This is my 100% honest response to that. On the day that I faced Levon and am victorious against Levon, no other human in history would be able to beat me on that day. Now, what could happen after that? Anything's possible. But the form that I bring when I face Levon will be the highest form, in my opinion. So think about it. If I face Levon and I win, In my opinion, that's the highest form the sport's ever seen.
I would agree with that. Yes.
So,
If he's in good shape and he's in the shape he's gonna be, he's gonna prepare, and you
but
manage to win. Yes.
the fact is, because so many things, so many special circumstances, and so many things beyond Michael Todd will play a part in that victory. Will I ever be able to duplicate that again? Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
gonna be a collecting it for today.
listen, it's going to be an every single thing that exists within me and more that gets me the victory on that day. So I don't know that you can make that happen more than once in your life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So although Levon can continue to beat everybody back to back to back because he's that special, I just need to be special one day.
And you think that day you could get it together?
That's the whole reason I'm doing this.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't think you could do that, why would you even train for Hermes?
I mean, why would I be doing any of this?
Yeah.
And I say that to say, like Rebecca said, listen, you've already showed the world what's possible. You're not supposed to be here. You started off this whole live with, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, this is not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be in the conversation.
Hmm.
But that's what's happened because of my faith and my belief. I just think the story's not. I think the story still has a final chapter. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So,
I would say at the very minimum, I would really hope you beat Hermes to answer the question of can Michael Todd stop Levon? Because I think most fans, the truth of it is they think Levon's going to kill you, but they also think Hermes is going to kill you, and they thought Gennady was going to kill you, and they thought Camille was going to kill you.
and they
Um,
thought Lars was going to beat me. They thought Frank was going to beat me. Like, literally, go back and watch every prediction from the masses leading into every match.
Even when we were
I
talking
was
about,
not supposed to win.
even when we were talking about you and Pablo, they were like, it's too soon for Michael. He's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're
Yeah.
going by betting, Frank, you were a heavy favorite. They thought you'd beat Frank, and I kind of agree with that because just stylistically, it's sort of hard for him to finish you. I could see why they thought that. They thought that. And then Lars, I think you were a shutout, but Lars was selling quicker. So it's sort of hard to, quantify that. Against Camille, you were a heavy underdog. Against Gennady, you were a decent underdog. And then against Hermes, I'd say you're the biggest underdog you've been during the whole comeback. But you haven't lost a match yet, so it's hard to bet against you. Um, but the thing I was going to say is, I would wonder, is there a world where, like, I think you are the person that has the highest chance of stopping Levon and making him work. I could see Vitali on the go. I could see him getting to here and Levon losing his pronation or keeping his pronation, but maybe losing some of his cup is able to hold him and kind of climb up and then beat him. If he were to hit you just slamming sideways, his wrist would go 100%, no doubt. And I think he may be able to climb, but we would see a new type of Levon. We would actually see a Levon that's working and thinking and adjusting. I think you have the best chance of making Levon work, think, and adjust than anybody. Which is why I really want to see that match. But I also think Hermes Gasparini stylistically is very difficult. So yeah, since it's match prediction, I'll give my match prediction. The gun to my head, I think Michael Todd will win, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be very long. And I think you're going to gas him out. I think his endurance, he has a big gas tank issue. That's his like I think number one chink in his armor is that he cannot go for as long as he's going to need to because every single round is at least 90% of the round before, and every single round won't be quick. You can't flash pin Michael Todd. It's just I haven't seen it happen before. So unless you're going for a press. But yeah, I think every round will be long, and I think you'll probably gas out Hermes, and it'll be 3-1, 3-2, ugly. There'll be positions just like Frank where you're holding on for dear life, but I do think you'll win. But I could see a world where you dominate him, and I hope that because that would set up for me being the most believing heading into you facing LeBron.
Right. Right. Um, I think he's worked on his gas tank issue a lot. I
Hmm.
think his endurance is going to be, I don't think that's his biggest chink.
I
I
think there
think
is
his
another.
pride is his biggest chink.
You're not supposed to. You're not
I
supposed
don't
to.
care because it's not about me. I can tell you everything. He doesn't have to beat me that day. You know, I think it's his pride. That's what I think is his biggest chink.
So you think he's like gonna just try to like, in what way will that inhibit his ability on the arm wrestling table?
He's expecting much less than what's going to show up February 15th.
Mm-hmm. And he's just going to be surprised, and he's going to have that, like you said, the look
Hey,
of
Henry?
desperation.
Henry, I think that's a period. Honestly.
Fair enough.
I don't want Michael to give away everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll ask you in Tbilisi. How about that?
So I'm not sitting there telling you he's going to.
Are you going?
Oh yeah.
I thought you said you're awesome.
Well, oh, actually, I didn't tell you. Yeah, so I thought that because the thing is, it was after you guys saw how fucking sick I was in Atlantic City. I didn't want to travel for the next 2 years after that. But then
Was
I got
anybody
home.
well from Atlantic City? I got sick
Dude,
for weeks.
I'm still sick. That's the
I
thing.
got
Like, it's
real
not
sick.
over.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm telling you.
I guess I'm glad that it isn't just me, but literally, like, I flew out on the 10th. It was a red eye, so I guess I got there on the 11th. Got there, had some hotel issue. They said you can book a room if you're under 18, but you can only check in if you're 21. So I couldn't check into my room. Don Idris, my Lord and Savior, said I'll figure this out. I'll book a room in my name, and then you just pay me back. So I at the ATM, like it's a drug deal. I paid him in cash. He gave me my room key, and then went to bed. I took a little nap. I woke up. Worst cold of my life. It didn't stop for 3 weeks. So after that, I was like, fuck traveling. But then my buddy lives in Georgia. He said I could stay with him. It would be a lot of fun. I love hanging out with him. Okay, fine. I guess I'm going to Georgia. So like a few weeks later, I was like, okay, I guess I'm going. I booked it.
When do you arrive?
I'm getting there 2 weeks early. I'm gonna be there really early. So yeah, I'm there to hang out with him for the first like week and a bit, and then I'll be there for the event as well. So I'll be really. Well, I'm wanting to visit Georgia, so I'm gonna really experience Georgia, and then we'll also be there for the event. And you guys are going early, I assume.
Yeah, we get there on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, week early. That's good. Yeah. I think, maybe also try to, I don't know if you could do this, but try to like arrange your sleep schedule so when you get there, you're as fresh as possible.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna give that a whirl. They're gonna be competing at it starts at like 9 p.m. at night, Georgia time. So
Nine-
Michael will probably be on at like 2 a.m. Georgia time.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably the second to last match of the night, third to last.
I mean, I would think the world title match left-handed would be the main event, but it's going to be Devin.
So
I mean,
I've
Devin
been,
is always the main event.
I told Michael, I said, I think that we should probably just continue to stay on the same sleep schedule that we have here in the States because
Yeah,
they're
maybe.
scheduling it so that it starts at the normal time here.
Yeah, it starts at
You
noon
know?
here or something, right? 11 a.m. our time. So
Yeah, I guess actually, yeah, keep the same sleep schedule and just be a weirdo in Georgia for a week where you're kind
Weirdo
of
in
I have to
Georgia.
wake up for an hour to go have breakfast and go back to sleep. You know
Or
what I'm
stay
saying?
awake
Yeah.
and then sleep.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, and make sure to get extra food throughout the day so that way when you're at 2 a.m. and you're wanting to eat food, you'll be all right, 'Cause, man, in Istanbul, there was one time after I got there, I was so hungry. I was walking around you know how we're not really in like a city, so there's not things open at 2 a.m. This one little kebab shop. I don't know why the hell or not a kebab. They had this like big spit with a bunch of meat on it. They were cutting off meat. I had the best like beef sandwich I ever had. I went back there the next day. I bought 3. And literally, I gave it to my buddy who was with me. I was like, "You gotta try one of these." He's like, "It's okay." I'm like, "Brother, you don't know what this did for me." You know what I'm saying? Like this was in such a special moment. I needed this thing. Anyway, all right, let's wrap it up here. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Michael, for coming on.
you.
I appreciate it very much. Do you have
to
anything
see
you
you,
guys would like
Lars.
to say to the
Good to see you,
people?
Lars.
Good to see you all.
You guys have anything you want to say to the people as we leave?
No.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. It was 2 hours. I can't believe we've been on this long. Oh, shit, 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been long as hell. I was like, we got to wrap it up.
So easy to start talking about arm wrestling, though, and the time just flies, right? Especially when you're talking about predicting matches and stuff. But, man, hey, it's exciting. I promise you I will bring my very best version, and let God's will be done, right? That's all I can say.
Can't wait to see you
I
all.
have nothing else. That's just my faith and belief. We'll see. We'll see if I'm right.
I am freezing.
All right,
This
Lars,
gym is
anything you want
cold,
to say
isn't
to
it,
the
Lars?
people?
It's so cold here. God,
What's
I
that?
missed you.
Anything you want to say to the people before we call it?
Yes, I will copyright. Stay strong and love arm wrestling.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. And
everybody.
subscribe to the channel and send me money on Super Chats. All right.